All right. Good morning. Welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. Here we are live. Can you believe it? 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've always wanted to be like a morning radio guy and say, good morning, 10 a.m. here in Las Vegas, 60 degrees. It's going to be a beautiful day. But instead, here I am sitting in my living room, chatting with everyone, talking the rock and roll, talking all kinds of cool and fun stuff. So I was supposed to have a guest this morning. As you know, every Friday morning, we have a guest. I'm usually in my bed on the chat with everybody, not that kind of chat, but talking to everyone who's watching and talking about the interview. And I had a few guests lined up, and a few people had plans and other things came up. And one particular guest, he decided that this was maybe too hot for TV, and he had to cancel. And so last night at 2 a.m, I said, I've got to find somebody to come on live who's not a pussy and can sit here and have some fun and tell some stories. And this person has got some great stories. This is a Waste Some Time with Jason Green alumni. And he is going to be here in just a minute. In fact, he's here now. He's in the green room, and he's going to come out. I'm going to tell you about what went wrong. I'm going to tell you about what guests are coming up. And then we're going to talk some rock and roll with today's mystery guest. All that and more right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody I'm gonna waste time with you. All right. Now I'm hoping our mystery guest is learning that song as we speak. It's not that difficult. I'm drinking watermelon bubbly and my Frankenstein tiki cup this morning. I hope you all are doing the same. All right, so I had a guest that, I'd be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of. I think the person's talented. They were in a pretty popular band, not A-list, but they were around, and I thought the audience would enjoy seeing this cat on the show. Why not? I got to kill a lot of time with this thing. I got to get people on, and it's not always about people that I'm a fan of, although I try to put people on. But to me, a good story is a good story, and sometimes you dig and you find a good story. So I had a guest who was supposed to come on, and we were going to record the interview, but he sent me some stipulations. I never really had people do that. I've had somebody once tell me, I don't want to talk about too much about this band, Guns N' Roses. But other than that, most people were open for anything. And I've had other people who have publicists saying, we'd like to gear towards this or gear towards that. And that's understandable. I'm going to get to everybody's comments and questions in the chat, by the way. Just got to get through this rant first. And so this person said they don't want to talk about a band that they had performed with. They performed with this band for a short time. This band was more famous than other bands they had been in. And I said, I'm okay with that. But I want to at least mention, because my interviews are usually a timeline of somebody's career. And I said, at the very least, I'd like to mention that you were in that band and we'll move on. No reason to dwell on it. I understand. And it's been talked about enough. But I don't like my audience to think that I didn't ask the question, because what will happen is everyone will go into the comments and say, how come you didn't ask him that he was in blank? And so I want to point out that he was in that band. And then later I'll tell people, and I warned him, I'm going to tell people, I'm honest with my audience. I was going to tell people that he didn't want to talk about it, and that's okay. Anyway, he got uncomfortable, his words, and said that I think I will pass. And he was polite about it. And this is a guy that I'll probably see on the road somewhere later in the year. And he's a nice guy, and maybe him and I will talk it out and he'll come on. But I think sometimes people think too big of themselves, and and to be honest with you, this was not going to get 12,000 views like Mick Sweeta, who was just on the show. Breaking news. Could you believe how big that interview was? As far as guys who sit in their living rooms and interview people go, like myself, that was giant news. He talked about the Bullet Boys reunion breakup. right? They broke up, if you didn't know. Spoiler alert. I guess we should say spoiler alert. And while I'm doing that, I got to get a few things done here. But so he came on, and I guess last night, Eddie Trunk, lo and behold, Eddie Trunk made a major announcement. He announced a lineup of the new Bullet Boys, and it would be a bunch of guys that you never heard of, which I don't think is really surprising anybody, right? Not surprising me. So, but my mystery guest who is here, he may be able to shed a little bit light on the situation of the Bullet Boys. And so he may have been a Bullet Boy. I don't know. I may have, who knows? It's hard to tell, but he'll be here and talk about that. So anyway, that interview was just tearing up the news media. By news media, I mean, jackasses on message boards. But this is a big story. Anyway, so if you haven't watched that interview, I recommend you do. And maybe we'll share a link. I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in. And I see a lot of guesses. And they're pretty interesting. And yes, and some of them may be pretty accurate. So, yes, this is. I'm glad you're here. As you know, this is the second live of the year. Last a couple of days ago, I did the Offspring hot sauce taste thing. Gringo Bandito, Dexter from the Offspring. I found out he's a doctor, by the way. Anyway, his hot sauce is good. That was the verdict was his hot sauce is good. Later today, I am going to be talking to Dave Roach from the band Junkyard. That's going to be pre-recorded, and it'll be on next week. Also coming soon, Frankie Wilsey from the Sea Hags. He's in Stephen Piercy's band as well. Stacy Q, Two of Hearts. She tells me every day she's coming on. We'll see what. She also says she's my soulmate, but I don't know. That could be something else. Doro Pesh will be here next month. Monty Melnick, this is what I'm excited for. He is the one and only tour manager for the Ramones. We're going to talk about the Ramones. Scott Coogan will be here soon, and a bunch of other cool people, and some big stars, actually, some major A-listers in this world coming up as they have things to promote. And Blackie Lawless is going back and forth. We'll see what happens, but supposedly he is going to come on 15 minutes. He will not be seen. It's an old-fashioned phoner, as they call it. That's what the kids call it. And then, of course, if you guys are big on literature, this is featured right now on Oprah's book club, I believe. This is called All the Devils by Jizzy Pearl. And Jizzy will be back to talk about this. This is a brand new book. And so I hope for those of my friends who are into literature, this is for you. So in just a minute, my guest is waving his hand. He is a big fan of literature, and he will be here in just a minute, and we'll take your questions as well. So while Mick Brown has told me that he will not do an interview, a lot of people are asking for him. I like to pause and drink and reflect at awkward times. It makes me feel better about my day. But anyway, Mick Brown says he's retired, and he said the only way he would do an interview was for a bunch of money. And who needs that when I got, Bullet Boys front page news? Yeah, the Wasp thing is interesting. I know what you guys want to know. Is Blackie Lawless going to sing "Fuck Like a Beast" now that he's religious and all these things? I want to ask him too. I got bigger questions for him, but we can't talk about that right now. And then I want to talk about this Judas Priest thing. How is a band that's known for their two guitar parts going to tour with one guitar? How much must they hate KK Downing, right? I mean, it should just be called the FKK Downing Tour. So anyway, I think mild Steve Brown is available as opposed to wild Mick Brown. But anyway, we are going to talk about, and thank you very much. Someone said they love the interviews with Carlos Cavazzo and Stephen Piercy. Yeah. And as you know, or may not know, I am tour managing Stephen Piercy and will be on the road with him for the rest of the year or until something breaks down and fails. But But anyway, and I have a tour diary that I'm filming, but I have to edit these things, and I am not as technically savvy as my guest today. He's a one-man stop show of all this technology and things like that. I just sit here, tell a few dick jokes, count my money, and then I would say go home, but actually I just go into the other room because I already am home. All right, guys, we are loading up the room. I'm glad everyone's here to talk. I'm going to talk to our guest about all these things too. He will answer some of your questions. So here it is. It's the middle of the night, and I go, what am I going to do? I don't have a guest. I don't have a show. YouTube likes consistency. They like you to be on time on a certain day, all that kind of jazz. The algorithm is the boss. That's who I really work for. I work for the algorithm, and he can be very nasty if you don't show up on time. So I'm laying in my bed at 2 a.m, and I'm thinking I'm tossing and I'm turning. I'm thinking to myself, who can I get to come on to show on such short notice? And somebody who understands the technology, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people that I invite on the show, they do not, this is new to them. Not everyone is streaming, So anyway, I put down the Pornhub and I said, I have got to find somebody who can come on and who can talk rock and roll with me, who's got some news, something new to talk about, can shed some light on some of the topics that you want to know about, that I want to know about, who can chat about Bruce Lee movies with me, because Bruce Lee is my all-time hero. I said, who is that person? And then I said, there's got to be somebody, an alumni of the show, who could come in and maybe tell a few jokes with me, maybe be funny, maybe shed some light, maybe answer some questions. And I said to myself, you know who you've got to get? You got to shine the light out the window, and you got to call for the one and only Johnny Monaco. And there it is. Johnny Monaco, how are you? Good morning.
Hey, Jason. Sorry, everybody. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Do you think that people are disappointed that you're here? I think they're happy.
I mean, that was a pretty nice intro. I think they were expecting a little more, but it was, like you said, it was short notice. And
in life, you have to expect, sometimes you're going to get something different.
Yeah. Well, they're getting that now. And are you drinking in the morning? Good for you.
Yeah, I'm having some bubbly. Yeah. Okay. I don't drink the coffee. Do you? You looks like you are.
Yeah, there's a Starbucks across the street, but that's just too much work. So I have an espresso machine, because that's what the rich people put in their bathrooms.
It seems very mature. For me, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really more of just to start me out. But then, halfway through the day and you get tired, you usually start going again. I can't drink coffee after like 6 or 7 p.m. though.
Yeah. Yeah, I even though I'm from New York City and everybody likes to drink a good cup of coffee, it's just not for me. So, but anyway, listen, people didn't come here for coffee chat. That's another bullshit show, I'm sure. We've got important things to get to. Like I said, I'm glad you can join me. Right now, everyone's disappointed that they're not seeing Vito Bratta and Warren DeMartini. But what they don't know is that you played with Stephen Pearcy more recently than Warren DeMartini. And this is an interesting story. I was just going to have you come on and we just talk a bunch of bullshit, but you performed. Is it last night?
Yes, last night when you called. Right. Like I got home and I was going to bed in my super expensive bed that I'm on the fence with, and you messaged me, and I almost didn't see it. So I was watching something crazy. Wow. And then you're like, you want to come on? And I'm like, it's kind of early, but then I'm thinking, you gotta work hard in this world if you want to get anywhere. So I'm like, oh, I better do it before he gets someone from Bang Tango or something. They might have a new book. So I just decided to come on. Thanks for giving me a call. It gives me something to do for today.
Yeah, I think. I think I was saying when I was a kid, I would watch the David Letterman show, the late night with David Letterman. When it was on NBC, it would come on at 12:30. This is before all these hip singing talk show hosts. Now everyone's singing and playing games, and it's bullshit. Letterman was great. And but whenever a guest would cancel or get sick or whatever, he would bring in Tony Randall, and Tony Randall would, from The Odd Couple. So those who don't know,
Yes.
Royal Spoiler Rock Hunter. He would come out of the crowd, and he would play this cranky version of himself, which is also a cranky version of Felix Unger. And then as later years went on, I believe after Tony Randall passed away, he would bring on Regis, King Regis of New York. And Regis would come on and go, Dave, I'm so excited to be here. And they would have a shtick. And it was funny. And then he also would alternate with Richard Simmons sometimes. Richard Simmons would come on in these little hot shorts. I'll tell you a quick story about Richard Simmons. I was in New York City. It was a freezing snowstorm. And I'm walking through the snow. And I had my glasses were covered in snow. I could barely see, and it was freezing. I said, why am I out? And I'm walking past a hotel on Park Avenue called the Regency. And I see a limousine, and Richard Simmons gets out of the limousine in the snowstorm, and he has the little pink top that you would expect and the little shorty shorts. And he looks at me and he goes, hello. And I thought I was so cold that I was seeing an apparition, or whatever the word is, of a Yeti or something, but it was the great Richard Simmons. And so I said, I want to get that report where I have a guest who, when people back out, will come on and be fun, hit it out of the ballpark. And that, my friend, is you, Johnny Monaco.
Well, thank you. And I am wearing hot pants. So
yes, well, but that's, and as am I, but that's the beauty of this television. Someone's mentioning Larry Bud Melman. He was great too. If you really watched the old Letterman. Yeah, Larry Bud. Yeah. So, so anyway, we're going to talk about some rock news in a little bit, and we're going to talk about what your questions and what you guys want to chat about. But before we get to that, I began talking a little bit about what Johnny was up to last night. I call him Johnny. Chips Enough decided to call him Monaco, like Madonna, and I thought that that's what you're supposed to do. And I'll be honest, I thought it was a little goofy, when I heard it. I prefer Johnny Monaco. Like I could see it in lights, Johnny Monaco. So that's what I call him. Anyway, and so Johnny, last night there was a memorial service here in town. This was a private event that was put on for a woman here named Alice Goldstein. Her husband Danny had passed away. She's a publicist type. I don't know her exact title, but she works, in the scene. People know her, and she's a very nice woman, and her husband lost his life. So they put on a memorial service. I was not very close with some of the people, and so but people I knew were performing at it, and so I knew about this thing going on, but it was a little bit different than what I thought, and it was certainly different than any other memorial service that I've ever been to, at least. So let's talk about it, Johnny. First of all, the musical director, the MD, if you will, was Mike Varney. Mike Varney is the president of Shrapnel Records. He discovered Yngwie Malmsteen. I think he won't come on my show. I think he's out right now looking for the next Yngwie Malmsteen. He's combing the streets trying to find the next one. But Mike is a great guy, and he's he's just not ready to tell these stories. He likes the show, and he's a great guy, but he's just not ready to come on here yet and talk. So he's the musical director. He contacts you. Johnny, tell me a little bit about this event.
So Danny Goldstein, I think I actually met him through Mike Varney. They were friends because they're both out here in Las Vegas, and Danny had a company. He's always been into music, right, Danny? And, moved here from somewhere else and started a business where you can order anything you want and they'll deliver it. It's like one of the first companies to do that here, which is a great idea. And, but he's always been into music. He wrote songs, he's been in bands, and then he ended up getting a neurological disease. I believe it's called CMT. And it just robs you of different facets of your body, and in this case it was his breathing, and he was slowly over time he lost use of his legs and everything, and he was in a wheelchair and he had oxygen, and this had gone on for a while. And as you know, with the pandemic, it's people have been getting sick and dying, and unfortunately that ended up happening with him. And they used to live right down the street here. I was texting with him like just 2 weeks ago, and he was like, checking in and saying hi, and we were just chatting, and then this happened, and it all went downhill really quick. And then I heard he died, and so it was terrible news. And Else, his wife, I know them fairly well because years ago, like maybe 7 or 8 years ago, he had wrote a bunch of songs, and he couldn't really sing and play as well because he was in his position he was. So he reached out to some people that he liked and had asked if we would re-record them and, sing and play and do all the parts and put it together with a band or whatever. So I did mine. I picked one of his, or he gave me one to do, and I redid it, and it's on YouTube. Then everybody else got theirs and just basically, redid his tunes. And then when we did them, we came out, I flew out from Chicago, and we played it at his birthday party at the Harvest Moon, or Desert, I keep calling it that, Desert Moon Studios, and over there with the Count, right? Count Customs.
Dracula.
And yes, not that Count. Hello. I played it there live for his birthday party. This was like I said, 7 or 8 years ago, and everybody else showed up, and it was a nice little event. And that was then. And then fast forward to today, this all happened. So Mike Varney reached out because they were really tight. Mike is very, intuitive and picks out certain people that he just bonds with, and it could be anybody, but there's always a common thread. And I think in this case, Danny was just like a real intelligent guy and funny and, witty, and, they were friends. So, of course, we all feel horrible about it. So Mike took it on himself to, put this function together along with Alice. And he basically invited all his friends and people that knew Danny, and some people that were involved in recording those actual songs, and other people that are bands that we all kind of know that are friends with both parties. And there was groups of us, like five, I believe 5 different like bands, sort of same drummer, interchangeable guitar players, bass players, but 5 different groups, and then different singers throughout. And we, they did the ceremony, and they got the priest, I think, talked about.
Where did this thing take place?
It was here in Las Vegas. It was over. I'm not really familiar with Las Vegas too much.
But like, what kind of was it? A club, or was it like a?
It was like a place you could rent out and have like a party almost, kind of. But there was a stage,
like a hall,
pinball machines. Yeah, right.
So Vegas has it's where you go for a quinceañera. But Vegas is famous for these. We've got our own rat pack, no pun intended, of sort of rock and rollers. A lot of famous people have moved to Las Vegas. A lot of influential people, and some numbnuts too. So Mike Varney arranged an assortment of these people. A long time ago, I did a thing called Sin City Sinners, where we'd have a band and people would come in and sit down. Other guys have done it too, Camp Freddy. So the idea is you're going to put together this sort of memorial jam, and guys are going to interchange. Tell me a little bit. So the drummer, by the way, his name is Michael Masonette. He played with my band, the Sin City Rejects. He played about 80 shows with us. He's a very talented guy. Don't hold it against him that he played with me. He knows lots of songs, and that is the kind of guy you need for one of these things. You need a guy who plays a little of everything. To live in Vegas, you better know how to play a little of everything. When I see other musicians who are not from Vegas, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I could jam that Judas Priest song tonight, I think, holy shit, like, what do you mean? So, okay. So Varney tells you he wants you to come in and do this thing. Obviously, you were tight with Danny, and so this is a thing for you to do, and for his family and friends as well. So, okay, let's talk about it. So we know Michael Masonette was the drummer for the night. Tell me a little bit about these other bands members.
So like I said, Mike reached out to some people that I guess that he, and Alice both wanted to have involved. Dave Ellefson played bass, came in from Arizona.
David Ellefson, he doesn't like to be called Dave. He told me that.
It's the first time. It's always David. And now
Yeah, he
blow it
doesn't
in.
like to be called Dave. But so David Ellefson is the former bass player for Megadeth, and he's no longer in that band, but he lives in Arizona, and so I guess Varney got him to come out for this event.
Yes, he played bass in my version, in my lineup.
Okay, so your lineup has you on guitar, David Ellefson on bass.
Yeah.
Who else?
And Mike played drums.
Michael Mason.
And Christian Brady played guitar as well.
Yeah, he was in a thing called Hell Yeah.
Correct. And I've met him at the original birthday party. He was there, but I hadn't seen him or really knew much about him until, and he was like kind of a last minute add-on because originally Mark Torian was supposed to be in my lineup.
Mark Torian is the singer for the Bullet Boys.
Yeah.
Were you in the Bullet Boys?
No.
But you toured with them.
Yeah, I was the counselor. No, I did tour with the Bullet Boys several times.
Yeah, and Mark Torian got arrested while you were on that tour, right?
Well, that was the first tour. Evidently, stabbing 80-year-old men with spoons is, you got to really go for the juggler with those older guys.
In our first interview, you told me that he threatened to stab a guy with a butter knife.
Yeah. In his defense, it was breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that, I don't know. That was such a weird time. I mean, I watched back on the interview and I hope I wasn't too mean, but I mean, that's kind of what happened. I was kind of there, and some older man called him Hoss, and he goes, "Hoss, who are you calling Hoss?" Evidently, it's an insult if you're from the East Side, and I didn't know what he was talking about. That's all I could think of was, what's the show with the car? With the orange Charger. No, the orange Charger. Yeah, Duke's. So I was just thinking of Hoss, and then he took it offensively, and I guess he was just like looking for anything, and he happened to be near a buffet, and had it been me, I would have used a banana, but he chose the butter knife, and then he didn't. He was just like, come on, he wasn't going to really
like George Chakiris in West Side Story.
Yeah, it was like an old cowboy scene, and evidently he's like, I ain't taking this, and they called the police, and they threw him in the clink, and a couple days went by, and we all waited for him to get out, and I just, every time I tell a story I get in trouble, but I'm really not being mean. I'm just pointing out the obvious. That's what happened.
And I like that you're walking it back. Here's a guy, Dan, who he says that he saw Mark get arrested at a show in Florida, and Steve Michelle, he's been on the show, and he tells a story about Mark Torian being arrested, and then people photographing it and posting it. So he has a history of this. Look, he's always, by the way, Mark Torian, he's always been nice to me.
Yeah, he's been great to me. Every time I see him, he's smiling. We hug each other,
but I've never, but I never had a knife fight with him. So he and maybe he doesn't like me. I don't think he watches this shit though. But because we had McSweeta on here, and he talked about how the Bullet Boys are disappointing or whatever. So okay, so he was supposed to be in your band. He seems like a reliable guy. What happened?
He does, doesn't he? I don't know. Something happened. I think he got deported. I don't know exactly what happened, but something happened, and he couldn't make it, and it was like a last minute thing. So we were supposed to learn.
Did he tell anyone that he wasn't showing up, or did he just not show up like Lonnie Vincent?
No, he told whoever, like maybe a day or two before this was all supposed to happen. And
he was going to sing or play guitar or both.
Well, originally in my group, one of the song that I wrote, that he wrote, that I re-recorded, we were going to do that one, and then we were going to do a song by a band called Cyanide, which I believe Danny had a connection with. Either he was in that band or he wrote that song, but it sounded just like a Rat song, and it sounded like Stephen Pearcy singing it. Like I really thought it was him. And I'm like, why are we doing this one? why don't we do like a regular Rat song? Because Piercy was going to be in my group, and for one song for him. So Torian was going to come up and sing something about a butterfly, one of his songs. Something changes into, I don't know, it's wrong. Well, something about a butterfly, and he was going to play acoustically because God forbid they learned 3 songs.
He allegedly was in Rat once. Did you know that?
Right. So when I realized Piercy was going to be in there, I'm like, oh, okay, so he should know a lot of these. So it should take a little pressure off of me. So he was going to go up and play his acoustic song about the butterfly. And then we were going to play 3 more. One of them was the song that I was part of. And then the other one was that Cyanide song. And then the last one was a song called Music Don't Pay the Bills, which was another Danny song. It was like a really heavy Zappa-esque, a lot of changes and stops. I wrote the whole thing. I charted the whole thing. It was really long and it's cool. It's just very involved, and I'm thinking, well, I hope these guys learn this stuff because you can't just walk in and play this one, And so then he canceled at the last minute. And then in the drum situation, Phil Verone was supposed to originally play drums because I guess
Phil
he's
Verone,
also
of the adult film star.
Evidently.
Yeah, a former adult film star. He Phil Verone also appeared on Celebrity Sex Addicts, maybe Rehab. He made a documentary about his drug use and problems. So you're telling me that he's not reliable either?
Well, I heard he was supposed to be there, and like you said, something happened at the last minute again. I don't know exactly what it was. Something about a boner. No, I don't know. Anyways,
he was in a band called a Saigon Kick. Sorry. I started with a good band, and then we got to the other one. Go ahead.
So he was supposed to do it originally. There was another drummer that was supposed to do it, and then I heard shades of Eric Singer maybe could fill in for whoever the guy that was originally supposed to do it couldn't do it. Whatever, this is like a labor of love kind of thing, and maybe someone couldn't do it or fly in or. So originally there was supposed to be one drummer, and then he was going to cover it. Then it came down to Phil, and thanks guys. So I'm getting all these texts, and then at the last minute he couldn't do it. So that's when Mike stepped up because Mike, is a local guy here and he knows like a lot of songs. So he learned them quick. He charted them out. He did it the right way, and he did great. So that was in my group, right? So and Stephen Piercy, of course, the highlight of the whole thing. So then I'm going to be playing guitar with Mark, but Mark cancels. So they get Christian Brady. And then Mike's like, listen, Christian Brady's going to be doing this. And then he's going to play the Warren parts. And then you can learn the Robin Crosby parts. So I
a little bit of an insult, I think, but whatever.
Yeah. Someone else said that. A couple of my friends were like screaming at me, like,
no one knows who he is. And listen, I've seen both of you play guitar, and you should be playing the Warren parts. It's ridiculous. You also auditioned for Rat, which we talk about in my first interview.
Yeah, it had been a while, and those songs are not easy. If you don't play them right, it'll sound terrible because both of those guitar players are toned. Just that song, they have so many good songs. You forget how many songs Rat has, but they picked that one for some reason, probably because it was the most known.
It was Round and Round is what we're talking about, right?
It was Round and Round. Sorry. Yeah. Round and Round. So, and there's like a harmony solo. And at first Mike was like, oh, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. Cause he's very particular and very accurate. He's like, that's a lot for these guitar players to learn, a day before. And he's like, what do you think? And I'm like, I'll do whatever you want. If he wants to play that part, I'll just learn the other guy's Robin Crosby's part. And it'll be fine. Let him do it. Because I really normally play the other part just because I'm a big Warren DeMartini fan. And also, whenever I've played in that lineup or in that position, if there's only one guitar player or whatever, you need to learn to solo because his is just like a harmony. And I just play more like Warren DeMartini. So, but it was fine. At first I was kind of like, taken back by it. So I sent him a video of me playing it. And I said, if he wants to know how to play it, it goes like this. It was late, and I was, but
and, and then you reminded him that he hasn't discovered anyone relevant since Ingve.
No, but I don't know why I did that. Because I know why. Because two of my friends were yelling at me and telling me to do that, so I listened to them.
You have good friends.
So then when I got to rehearsal and actually met him, he played fine. He played the parts good. He was nice. I mean, I remembered, him from rehearsal then a little bit because, I meet so many people. And if I remember bits and pieces, and he was cool. He played great. And then I kind of flubbed my part because I was so, new to it and kind of worried about it. And Mike Varney was sitting there watching me, and I had to sing because Stephen Pearcy wasn't there yet. So I was kind of like, guiding and conducting a little bit. And I'm trying to play all these parts, and I was wearing pajamas. I was a little
what
distracted.
key were you playing in? Were you in E flat?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we get to rehearsal, and we go through the first tune, and then we play through my tune, well, the one that I redid.
Right.
And then we started playing that third one, and the doors open, and it was like, whoa, and Pearcy comes walking in with the look, like all his stuff on. It was great. I was like, oh man. And he had all these girls. It was like, a rapper showed up, and he had his chains and his glasses on, kind of looking around. All right, what are we doing? Just got like, oh.
You don't fuck around.
Oh, it was great. And so I had to like introduce myself again. I'm still pretty sure he doesn't know who I am. And then Mike Varney had to introduce himself. It was great. It was great. So David had to go to the bathroom. So he's like, here, take my bass. I'm going to go to the bathroom. He's like, I'll take that bass. He's like, I'll play the bass. I'll play the drums. What do you want me to play? He's like, playing the
He's
bass.
very good, by the way. He's
great.
Good guitar player.
I really like him. I mean, I was just sitting there kind of looking at him, and everyone else would look like rock. They had the rock look on. I looked like I was, there to fix the plumbing. And he probably was like looking at me like, what is going on? And then we played the tune, and he sang, and it was great. And he's like, sounds great. I'm done. It was great.
I'm working on a Stephen Pearcy impression. I spend a lot of time with him, and it's not easy to do. Sometimes I do it with no actual words. I just kind of go, and I change that. And on stage, he likes to say, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. And usually you can tell if he likes something based on the fuck yeah. Like if I tell him, like, we got paid and it's going to be an easy night, fuck yeah. But if you tell him that, like, there's 18 bands and you're going to have to stay in the hotel, it's like, fuck yeah. And so I'm working on the impression, but anyway, Stephen's a great guy. Continue.
I really like him, and he sang, and it was great, and it sounded pretty good. And then he goes, and Sebastian Bach. We kind of jumped around a lot, but Sebastian Bach is also in one of these lineups. They're the two main guys that everyone would know. And
hold on, let me stop you. Phil Varone played in a version of Skid Row for about 5 minutes. He has a Skid Row tattoo. Skid Row sent me, allegedly, a cease and desist saying that if we had him perform, we can never say he was in Skid Row. They were so ashamed of him. So maybe Sebastian Bach and maybe Phil Varone said, I better just stay home. Who knows? Call me Columbo. But maybe there's something there. Or maybe there was just a bisexual orgy or something like that.
Nothing wrong during work hours. Yeah, no, I don't know what happened. I just know that if those two were to throw down, I mean, Sebastian Bach's, if you ever meet him in person, he's a big guy. He could probably do some damage.
He's like Thor.
He was bringing the hammer down last night. It was great. There was an incident, but but he was at the rehearsal, and I guess there was a rehearsal the day before. So Mike had it throughout the day. So each group would come at a certain time, and I guess his group was right before our group. So I was coming as he was leaving, and I didn't really know. I saw like a hair, and everyone's got nice cars there except for me. My car looked like someone's car broke down and they left it in the parking lot. They're all coming in, rolling in with like, Range Rovers and, Mustangs or whatever people drive. Oh God, I hate this place. And it's, so he was leaving so it's then Piercy comes in and he goes something like, was he here? I'm like, yeah, he just left, I guess. He's like, oh, did he play 18? I'm like, 18? And I kind of doing that. I go, no, the other one. And then one of the other guys was like, I remember you. He was like, oh, that one. He's spinning his mic around. So he was funny already.
He's very funny.
I was laughing. And, but he was like, okay, everything sounds great. See you guys tomorrow. And he left, came in, sang the song, mic drop. And then.
Did he have the brass knuckles?
No, not this time, but he had the look. I mean, I felt like I was underdressed. But evidently that's the look, So it's like, that was fine. We rehearsed it and it was like, okay. Varney was grilling me on the harmony. I'm like, and Piercy, we're acting like, how do you want to end it? He's like, it doesn't have to be perfect, just do it, just come up with something. And what about the harmonies? He goes, it goes like that. I'm like, all right. So he's like, just, harmony, blah, blah, blah. I'm standing next to him like, I kept introducing myself. I felt so stupid. Like,
do you think he remembered you?
No. I mean, I don't know. When you
auditioned for Rad, he was drinking a lot and he was having some health issues. And I don't think he remembered a lot of the people. And I'm not talking out of school. He's said this. So I don't think he remembered a lot of the people who came in. But he does watch this show, though, and so maybe it enlightened him.
Yeah, I just really liked being around him, and then the next day he came up, and like I said, there was a whole, started out with talking about Danny, and then they did there's some videos and stories, and people came up and told stories.
How many people are at this thing?
I want to say they said something like 150, maybe a little less than that.
I hate to be serious. Is anyone worried about that this might be a super spreader event?
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tables were spaced out. It didn't, it wasn't like we were crammed in there. But yeah, I brought that up. The first thing I brought up, and it's like, no offense to any of you guys, but what's going on here with that? So, but. I mean, I've been on a Faster Pussycat tour bus, so I have everything.
That's a good. That's a very good point. And listen, I don't want to dwell on it, but it does seem scary, in this time, to have this kind of thing. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna clean it up a little bit here. So there's a couple different groups that are gonna play in between videos. I think Varney took, and he's watching, I guarantee it. And I do like him. I think he took on more than he can handle. What you do with these kind of events, I did an event. Let me tell you about it, Johnny Monaco. I'll brag a little bit. It was for a guy named Kerry Simon. He was a chef. He passed away. He had a disease called MSA. And anyway, he did this event, and they told me they wanted me to direct the thing and handle the bands. And he knew a lot of famous people. It turns out I had to work with Bill Murray for the night. That's a big deal. One of the coolest things I've ever done is spend the night hanging out with Bill Murray. And he was as cool as you can think. But what we did is we had the Sin City Sinners, the band that I put together. They could play anything. And no matter who came on stage, they were ready. And we had Vince Neil, and we had Lisa Loeb, Alice Cooper, Todd Rundgren, Slash. And never did I have to change the band. Sometimes occasional guys sat in with the band. But when you start doing different groups and teams, it becomes rock and roll fantasy camp. In my opinion, I wasn't there, and I don't like camp. But so it seems like there was a lot going on. But okay, look, you're trying. So you have your lineup. David Ellefson played Round and Round with Stephen Piercy, right? And you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How interesting. Yeah. Okay, and
Christian Brady.
And Christian Brady, yeah, and Michael Mason. Okay, so who is in Sebastian Bach's group?
Okay, Jason Walker, who's a local guy here in town, really good. We play in a lot of the same bands when we play with the cover stuff. He's been in town forever, and
yeah, I know him. He's one of these local guys. I get it. Yeah,
yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
And
or Mike Varney thinks he's the next Yngwie. Okay, go ahead.
I think he is working with Mike. They're doing an album right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
no wonder Mike's not coming on the show. All right, go ahead.
Who played bass with that band?
It's got to be some local yokel.
Let's see. I should know this. Well, there was a couple girl singers. One of them was in the Butcher Babies. She was great.
That sounds cool.
She went up and sang. And then there was another girl. Oh, boy.
I'm glad you're not calling them broads, at least. You know.
Honey. I call them honey when I go into restaurants. They look at me like I'm from the time forgotten.
All right. But so the bass player couldn't matter because you don't know who it is. Okay.
No, probably does.
So I want to know about these. Okay, Mark, if you're watching at home, Mark Torian didn't show up. Phil Varone didn't show up. They had previous engagements. So what about so the big stars are Stephen Pearcy and Sebastian Bach. And then David Ellefson, he's a big star. You know, he was there too. And okay, so what happened? Did you have any run-in with Sebastian Bach?
I didn't personally. There was a little bit of an incident.
Yeah,
first of all, really quickly. Yeah, I can. But these people on the comments. So first of all, if they're nice and they say some good stuff, you know, but some people just come out here and they say some stupid stuff, like, you know, and if you're going to say something like that, at least have it make sense or be funny. And if you're just like this guy said, boring, you're boring. So shut up.
And it's not in context. Boring. Well,
this when you get called out, you know, stupid.
Well, I do, you know, Johnny, I do this quite a bit. And when I see people make comments like that, I think to myself, you're sitting here watching me. And then you took the time to say that this is boring when you could have went and watched something else. But I've already got their money. But every time they click on this, I already got their money. But it is an odd thing to just say boring. Add something, as Johnny said, say something funny.
I'm sure he'll come back with something great and he'll spell "your" wrong. Whatever. It doesn't even matter. I'm just tired of people that, I mean, I'll say something to somebody. I won't put it up there and say something stupid or, you know, it's got to make sense. But they're just trying to be like, you know, like make fun of somebody or put somebody down. And that's fine if it's pointing out the obvious. But if you're just, you know, you're boring, so shut up. Anyways,
I put up all the nice things.
Yeah.
Although there's no E in green, but all right.
All right. So anyways, so something we played our sets, and then I was asked to play their wedding song, which was Right by Your Side, which is an Enough's Enough song.
Okay.
And that was their, you know, wedding song. And, you know, Alice called me early in the morning and asked me if I would do it. And I was like, sure, you know, so I had to kind of remember how, you know, it's great. Great song. Tough one to sing.
Have you played that one before?
Yeah, in the past, you know, but she wanted me to just play by myself with the acoustic as like kind of, you know, a moment in the ceremony, you know, which is a lot of pressure. So it's I had to play that one by myself. Then later I played with my lineup. We played all those songs. And then so Stephen Pearcy was in my group, obviously, and then Sebastian Bach was in another one. And he did I'll Remember You. And then Mic Drop. And then some other bands played and some more of Danny's songs. There were some heavier ones in there and screamy ones. And it was pretty good. You know, everybody was really good. All the bands were good. There wasn't anybody up there that wasn't good. And then at the end, there was a jam. Now, Oz Fox was in one of the lineups. That's who was in earlier one of the lineups. And I really liked him.
Striper.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, I've known, and I met him in the past, and we've talked a little bit. And he was on your show, obviously, but I just really like him. He's like a genuine guy, and you know, I'm not very religious, but you know, I don't think the religion makes the person. He's someone who, even if I didn't know better, you know, he's a nice person, a genuine person, a selfless person, helpful.
100%. It couldn't be a nicer person. And whether you're religious or not, he's not a preachy person. He's a great guy, and he's done a lot for me, and he's done a lot for other people. I'm talking about, you know, private things that he doesn't look to advertise, such as doing something like a memorial service like this. He is one of the nicest people around.
That's true. So maybe I gravitate towards him because we're opposites. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, he was there, and I wasn't getting a good guitar tone, and I was like, I need a distortion pedal. I'm like yelling at everybody, and he came up and he's like, you want to use my pedal board? I'm like, well, I don't want to take your pedal board away. I mean, I don't want to mess it up for you. He's like, no, you're fine. So he plugged it all in, gave me a striper tone, and I got to be honest, I think my tones were, better because they were powered by, and because I'm not getting in there, but he sure is. Yes. So I think maybe someone was listening. They're like, those tones are pretty good. I know where you got those tones. Maybe we'll put them in purgatory for it. So, anyways, he was very nice, and he let me use his pedal board. So I got some good tones, and then after that, we just kept talking all night and hanging out. And he's really, and he sings really, really good. I didn't know he sang like that. Like, it sounded like Stryper when he sings, like he does the vibrato thing. Like,
Johnny, did you know that he once was the lead singer for Stryper?
I didn't know that. I don't know.
Stryper made a record called Against the Law, and after that record, Michael Sweet left for a little while, and they had some foreign dates to fulfill. And Michael Sweet's own brother went, and the three of them, and Oz sang for Stryper for that tour.
I didn't know that. Good. He sang a couple songs. He sang one Stryper tune, and Danny. Do you know Danny from around town?
Does he have a last name, or is he from around the town?
Wild.
Yes, I know Danny Wild.
How could I forget Wild?
I was going to say
something wrong with me.
Yes, he's got a good voice too.
Yeah, he's great. He's really good. Man, that guy can hit some notes. The glass on my table broke. A German Shepherd ran in from the other room, but he sang "Soldiers Under Command" with Oz, and he was really good. But I got to be honest, I think Oz could have just sang the whole thing.
I've seen Oz do it. Oz
playing guitar and singing all these harmonies and looking down. It was great. I just really like him, and so he played and let me play his pedal board. And then at the end of the night, there was a jam, and we're like, yeah, everybody get up here. And I'm standing up there. And of course they think I know every song, and they're like, just stay up there and play something. Well, and then he's like, what do you want to play? I'm like, I don't know, Oz, what do you want to play? And people kept yelling out like really obscure stuff, and people kept yelling out Dio. I'm like, Dio? I'm like, do you know any Dio, Oz? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what do you want? I look at the rest of the guys, and I'm thinking religion, Christian, Dio, devils. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But someone's like,
heaven and hell in Stryper.
Okay, well, we ended up playing Neon Nights, which is a hard one to sing. So I'm singing Neon Nights with him. We're trading off verses. I was waiting for one of us to explode into flames, and it probably would have been me because he's protected. So so we start singing Neon Nights. Oh no! I got my iPad up there, and we traded off, and it was great. It sounded great.
Who played bass?
I want to say it was David.
Okay, yeah, I bet he knows that stuff. Yeah,
and then Mike knows the drums, and Christian knew the guitar part, and everything was tuned down a half step. But when Sebastian Bach sang, he required it to be to pitch. Yes. So he's like, I don't sing a half step down.
I'm going to tell you a story about that, Johnny Monaco.
Well, Christian's got a pedal.
I directed this award show. Sebastian Bach was going to perform, and it was an all-star band, and it was some pretty good guys, maybe John Five, and I can't remember the exact, maybe Matt Storm, but some guys that you've heard of, and maybe Steve Stevens, I don't know. Anyway, I go and tell Sebastian, who I know, what key do you sing these songs in? It was cover songs, and I explained to him that the band is a half step down, to which he says, dude, I don't fucking play a half step down. I sing it like the record, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, whatever the fucking pitch on the record is how I sing it. And so I had to explain to the band that whatever pitch it is on the record is how to sing it. So Sebastian, and it's very rare, and for people who are not musicians, they're probably thinking, what the fuck are these guys talking about? But Sebastian Bach likes to sing in standard pitch. That's the way his records were recorded. And that's how he likes to sing. So it is interesting, though, that you guys had to make that change for him.
I mean, I get that, and I understand it, and I kind of agree with it. And I'm like on Beatle tunes and stuff. I like to sing them to pitch, but the thing was, he brought his in-ears. I didn't realize that, and I kept talking to him. He wasn't answering me because he couldn't hear me. So he was standing off stage, and I was on stage, and someone's like, "Hey, could someone hit a couple chords? Because Sebastian just wants to make sure the levels are good." And I'm like, and they're looking at me because I had a guitar in my hand. They're like, I'm like, acoustic? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, we'll switch it over really quick. So I plug the guitar in and I start playing, that one. I don't know. And he goes, what's that? I go, it's your song. He goes, what key is it in? I go, I don't know. You wrote it. He goes, that's not the right key. I'm like, it's G, right? I'm looking at everyone. He's like, yeah, he goes, no, he's talking about he goes, I don't tune down. I don't do it like that. I'm like, oh, sorry. He goes, just do it like we did last night. He thought I was Jason, who played with him last night. I'm like, I'm not even in your band. I'm just you said play some chords so you could hear the key or hear the levels. So I thought it was funny. We kind of know each other. We sort of don't. And, but I mean, I just talk to people like, just whatever. So that was kind of funny. And then we switched it over. And then, cause the guy in his band then was, Christian Brady ran up and he's like, oh, I'm like, God, Christian Brady, always screwing me, that guy.
They call him Shady Chris Brady around town.
No, I'm kidding.
No, they do.
But he was fine. But
I mean, maybe it's not true, but people say it.
I got along with him fine. So your
volume went up for a second.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
are you talking in standard? Are you talking in A440 or are you talking a half step down?
I don't know what's happening. I think it's my messenger. So so Christian Brady ran up there and did something and he got the levels right. So then, he's sitting at the table with Piercy. Then now Piercy rolls in with his chick and they're hanging out. I'm like, hey, how's it going? It's like, I'm sure he still doesn't know who I am. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it's going to be awesome. He's like, yeah. He said something to me. And I'm like, hey, your friend's here. And I pointed over to Sebastian Bach and he goes, my friend. So then they sat at the table all night and hung out. They were fine. They're laughing and talking and having a good time. They sat there through the whole thing, like 4 hours. They weren't like, poo-pooing it and rock starring it or anything. They sat there and they were nice and they watched the whole thing.
So what went wrong?
So at the end of the night when we were doing so I'm up there singing Neon Nights and Iron Maiden and stuff like that. And I'm like, should I be doing this up here? Then I did a little stand up and then I was like, should I be singing? Wasn't Sebastian Bach be singing these songs? And they're like, yeah. So he's like, all right. So he got up there and then he's like, what do you guys know? I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to play? He's like, all right, but I'm not singing it a half step down. So something happened and someone changed their pitch on their thing. And I was still a half step down. So I think we played, I don't know what happened. So we played something and then he wanted to play Heaven and Hell. And that was a train wreck because there's a lot of parts in that song. He said he knew it. So then we were playing Number of the Beast and he stopped another one he picked. And he stops halfway through. What are we doing this for? This is about the devil. This isn't appropriate at a funeral. So we shouldn't be doing this one. Oz Fox is going to explode. It's kind of funny. He funny,
once
actually.
Told me that he would never, ever play with a member of Stryper. When I had Oz in the Sinners, he said there's no chance I would ever do that. So, but I guess he broke that rule.
Well, Oz was up there. We were all up there. Played some Iron Maiden songs. Mm-hmm. And then since it was a jam, Christian Brady's girlfriend is from Canada and she's a really good singer and performs. And, he's like, hey, you want to come up and play something, name a couple of tunes, So she had like a back.
Everybody loves when that happens, right?
She had,
hey, my girlfriend's here. When she gets done with the dishes and cleaning around the house.
Well, she actually plays in bands. She's a musician. Oh. She wasn't part of the thing. So anyways,
it's Sash Jordan, right? Sash Jordan.
I don't, her name is,
That doesn't matter. Keep going.
She's very nice. I just met her for the first time last night. Her name is Cassie. So,
Okay.
and she played in town, I guess. And so she went up to do her song, and he's like, "What was this?" She's like, "It's my turn," and he's like, "What?" he got mad, or I don't know. It's like, he's getting kicked off the stage. He's hilarious. Drops the mic, and he's like kind of stomped off, and then he's like sat back down. He was like finishing his wine. Like,
it's probably bad etiquette though when
I don't know,
a multi-platinum guy is on stage.
Yeah, I understand his point. I mean, it was a combination. I missed all of it because I was confused about tunings and who was playing what and why we just got done playing Number of the Beast with the guy from Stryper. And
what is Mike Hardy doing? Is his head spinning while this is going on?
He's just like got his mask on. He's like sitting back there watching the whole thing and, coming up and checking on us. And
at least he had a mask on. He sent you guys out to be killed, but
I had a mask on during Round and Round though. We were playing and Piercy came over to my side. He put his arm around me and he was singing on the mic with me,
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm gonna get it, at least I have a, it's like, well, Piercy. But I mean, I was surprised he did that because I'm pretty sure he doesn't know anything, what's going on with me or who I am or anything, even though we've met before and I introduced myself a few times. But he said, "Oh, you sang the harmonies right. You had a good time." I was just happy that, I got to do something like that. He didn't hug anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he feels I was the weakest link. I don't know. But anyways,
I think he bonded with you. He doesn't screw around. If he doesn't make small talk.
I really like him. Some people I just really like, be around, and it's just like the real deal, And,
he is one of the better people that I've worked with of his stature, especially. Obviously, he's a multi-platinum guy. He could be a big star if he wants. I sit with him on planes and we would travel, and he's great. He's not a mean person. We've all worked with people who are jerks. That is not him. His Rat is difficult. And there's some people in that band that are difficult, but Steven's the easiest guy, and he's great. And I get what you're saying. Being around him and watching him sing those songs is a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it's like I grew up listening to those songs, so I kind of wish I would have took some pictures or kind of fanboyed out a little bit. But I was so focused on just doing it right that I didn't get any of that. I didn't even think of my childhood or like the Rat video and all the moves and the stuff or like that thing from the video. And I just blanked on all that because I was so focused on just trying to do it right. But I just he's all the bands he's got, like the band he just had prior. Those guitar players are really good. But I mean, I think we got along.
I'm gonna ask him.
Yeah, ask him. I'd be curious. Right, totally. And
I'm gonna say, hey, I heard the jam last night went well. He's gonna go, what jam?
And yeah, he was great. And so other than a little blip, and then I don't know if I'm saying too much. It's not like a big secret. I'm saying this is just what happened. They're probably from now on they're like, don't ever get that guy involved in anything. He's going to go online and tell everybody. But I mean, wouldn't you want to promote the thing? This is what happened.
Hold on, Johnny. Let me clean that up. First of all, it was in memory of a man who passed away, and I think that he was in the music. He would like to have gone further in the music business, but this disease took away a lot of his ability. And so, of course, I think it'd be nice to be talked about the next day and remembered.
Oh, he would have liked it. Yeah.
And that's all that matters. And that's all that matters in the long run. And Sebastian, and he's not watching this. And I don't think we said anything bad. He's a great singer. That's why he sings in A440. That's his thing. And Stephen, and then the other people we made fun of, they don't really matter that much.
Well, it's just that, someone could say like, oh yeah, that little guy went on there and talked, but it's like, that's just what happened.
It's only 10, 11,000 people going to watch this. Who cares? You're making good points, and people would like to know, because no one was invited, to the world, and it should have been streamed. They should have streamed this thing, but
I thought so too. I actually posted it on my page because I have a page of all my dates. If you go to my .com under shows, and I I didn't put the place or anything. I just put the event because I want to keep all my dates straight, and I use that as a reference so I don't miss a show. And I was asked to take it down, so I don't know who went down that rabbit hole, but you have to really dig for that page.
Well, Stephen told me that he thought maybe they could use some help organizing this thing. No offense to Mike, it sounds like they did. But so I texted Mike and I said, Stephen was mentioning something, and he said maybe Stephen's confused. This is a private memorial service, and which I understand. And so so maybe they were trying to keep out the riffraff. I mean, God forbid Mark Twain and Phil Varone just show up.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that, it was an undertaking, and there was a lot going on. I charted like 3 or 4 songs, 2 of which we didn't even do. And the one guy was his good friend, was one of the rap singers on the real heavy tune. And he was a little nuts. And I believe the term Jew Gold and MFer was mentioned 9 times in the speech. But again, that's just some people are raw, homeboy. And he was one of the singers in like I said, one of the heavier bands. So, but Danny probably gravitated towards these individual, unique characters. And yeah, it was some speech, and they recorded the whole thing.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we got some kind of is this porn? You think? Look at this. Hold on. I've never got spammed like that. We got some kind of porn.
Where?
That's great.
Will satisfy your wishes online. Oh, that's Phil Varone.
Oh, I should have recognized his thing, but how great. Most people would be so upset that they're being spammed, but I don't know. I kind of enjoy it.
Love Face. That was my nickname in college.
I'm putting them in a timeout. I've never done this before. It's kind of exciting.
I'm reading the interview. I'm reading the lyric or the.
I got a funny article I want to read. A message the other day I want to read you if you don't mind.
Okay.
First of all, where was the mayor of Munchkinland himself, the artful Dodger, Phil Lewis? Where was he?
I thought Phil would be there because he is close with those people.
Yeah, and
I was hoping he would be
whack
there.
Jobs.
No, I was hoping he would be there. I want to see him. I don't know. Sometimes if I do these, if I see the person, they're going to be like, I thought we were friends.
I think that's
what talk. But I would think I could say anything, and me and him would still be okay because he knows me. So he took me out for duck over rice once.
I feel like only assholes eat duck.
Well,
I mean, I know killing animals is the kind of a thing that people do, and that's fine. But duck, have you not seen Donald and Daffy? I mean, and then you wanted to eat those guys? I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't. I think that was just one of the specialties at this place. It was in Chinatown.
Did you see what he wore on New Year's Eve?
I did.
Look at this guy. Who is representing the Lollipop Guild if he's out playing shows?
Jeez.
What is who gets up in the morning? And this is a guy who told you that he didn't like your fashion.
No hats and winter scarves on stage, Johnny.
And then I saw this outfit. People send me this shit. And
someone sent it to me too.
Yeah, and I appreciate it because sometimes you need a good laugh to get through the day. But
I kind of liking it if it involved a dove and a floating dollar bill.
Oliver Twist suddenly is in my head again.
In this life, and I won't do it again.
I enjoy it.
I can't stop with that song. My girlfriend keeps saying, "Stop singing that."
I love it. Now, listen, I got this message from a young lady, and she was very upset that Mick Sueda and I were too hard on Mark Twain. By hard, I mean we talked badly about him, not stuff that Phil Varone is into. So I'm not going to say her name, Helena, but she says, I am 15 years old and love 80s rock and been at many of these shows, like you mentioned, towards the end of the interview. I am very influenced by it in my own music. I'm a little disappointed in this interview because I feel Mark was thrown under a bus, not the bus, a bus. There were definitely some things left out which could have had people being more understanding. Mark is an amazing musician and cares about his fans. He did not want to sabotage this. And I think it's so wrong to give that impression. I was lucky to learn from Mark, who taught me so much. 15, by the way. I mean, I'm sure it was musical. I was shocked on the history Mark had in music and all the knowledge he passed on. I don't think he passed on. But anyway, he has been so good to me. Some things just didn't seem to add up in this interview. Mark talked to me about his bandmates like they were his brothers. I'm very hurt to see how this ended here. And then a sad face. And then she commented on her own comment because that wasn't enough. I also wanted to say I will continue to go see the Bullet Boys. I would have loved the original band to stay together, but Mark is the one who stood out in the band, and she knows these new guys and blah, 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 blah. And anyway, so my point is there's a lot of young fans out there, obviously, and she has a right to like Mark and whatever. But I don't think she sees McSweeter's point completely, which is how many times can you play a show where you have a guy who literally disappears, Lonnie Vincent doesn't make flights, and then Mark goes against what the band wants to do. And there's so much personal stuff in this that, a fan might not see this, but that's why this interview is making so much news, because the world is torn right now. There's news briefings every day on the Bullet Boys and Bang Tango. And I think that one of the guys who was at your jam is going to be in Bang Tango now. So I heard.
Yeah. Jason Walker. Also, before I begin, are you sure that wasn't from Troy Patrick Farrell? I don't think that was a 15-year-old girl. They might be wearing the same pants, but I don't think that sounds a little, fake.
Did you hear from him after our interview?
No.
He's done with you.
He's probably building his case right now. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not trying to argue with people or just
wait, hold on, Johnny. I don't mean to interrupt you, but Helena is here. She is here.
God.
She's 15 and she is here. So now we got to clean up the language. But Helena, I thank you first of all for watching the show, and I want to introduce you to the great Johnny Monaco, who is also a role model and a musical influence, and he has an album coming out soon. It's his Chinese Democracy. It's called She Said She Found Her Soulmate. It's incredible. The music, if you go to YouTube and you listen to the snippets, as I have, Johnny, and I'm not just blowing smoke, you really can write a catchy song. And I listen to music all the time that has no damn hook. And you're a hooker,
Well, to keep it clean, she's 15.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Elena. But anyway, I'm glad you watch the show. But you have to understand that sometimes our heroes are different. When you get to know them or have to work with them, they can be very difficult. And Mark has a little bit of history of that. But I hope he straightens it out. But you have to understand why his band may also. They've been through this. They've got 30 years of this tit for tat. I shouldn't breast for tat. We got to
keep it clean.
Yeah. You ever see the movie High Anxiety with Mel Brooks, where the young person walks in the room and all of a sudden he decides he can no longer use dirty language? Anyway.
No, I'm looking at her page right now, and I was wrong. This is a real girl, and she does look like a young person, and she looks like a cool person, and she was probably just voicing her opinion and how she saw it, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I get where she's coming from, because I felt that same way. About some people. It's not that, what was said was, taken maybe out of context for her. She hears it and then it's like, oh, this is terrible. He was nice to me, and I'm sure he was nice. And that's two different things. Maybe what, these guys in the band were reporting on what they went through. And, she felt, sticking up for him, which is fine, which you should do. But yeah, she looks like a cool chick. She plays guitar. And she goes in the studio and she records, and she likes the 80s stuff. So she's probably an old soul and a young person here, and she gets it. And that was just her. That's how she felt. And there's nothing wrong with expressing.
I never thought that you would give the politically correct answer, but you did. But
no, that's exactly. Who else was nice though? Ted Bundy. So
yeah, that's true. I heard he also was a great cook. So I don't know. Listen, people make mistakes, but. this is a great platform, and there are a lot of young people who are tuning in, which I think is great. It's so great that Helena, have you worked with David Ellefson of Megadeth? He is fantastic.
Stop.
Oh,
she's really into the 80s. She's, some of these young people are really into the 80s now, and that's awesome.
Yes, I love it. I love to see that people are discovering this music. I got to be honest with you, Johnny Monaco. When the grunge thing happened, I thought a few of us will get older and still enjoy this music. I didn't realize that it was gonna, that Enough's Enough would be Led Zeppelin to a new generation. So how great is that? Someone is asking about an interview, and I wanted to talk about. There was another interview that I recorded that I have not released, and the reason is the person in the interview, who is from Chicago, and I think you know him, Johnny. I asked him questions that he probably should not have discussed because of a legal arrangement, and so the whole interview, at least 90%, is discussing things that he could not legally talk about. And so that interview is sitting around, and I'm trying to figure out how to edit it. And the person I'm talking about with the band was mentioned in the chat. So I would like to put that out at some point, or maybe interview him again. He's a talented guy. He wrote a book, but I was really interested in the legal event that he was involved in, and he tried to give me the best interview possible, but later realized that maybe. He probably would have been in trouble, and I would not want that of a guest. This show is not to throw people under the bus. People are sometimes scared to come on because they think that the questions are going to be. I don't make people say things. Just because I ask a question, you don't have to answer, insult people and things like that, unless that's your gimmick, like me and Johnny Monaco. And Davey Vane stood me up. And everyone was asking for Davey Vane. I said, what the hell? I'll send him a message. And he told me he was honored and that he would do it. And now he leaves me on red like every other whore,
I mean, maybe some people don't want to, they feel like, because you said a hot topic or something, or they're going to say something crazy. But, everyone's got an opinion. And like I said, I wasn't trying to be political. Someone said, nice political statement about her. I wasn't. I just listened to what you said. I looked at her page. I put two and two together, and that's what I came up with. This other person says that I was nice to them, but then they heard I was a total jagoff, which is a Chicago term. Mm-hmm. And these people, man, if I was a jagoff to you, you probably deserved it, and otherwise I won't be.
Yeah, I think I missed that the jagoff thing, but
these people, man.
I think that, you're definitely a misunderstood guy. I should point out that for a long time, people told me you got to have Johnny Monaco on the show. And I knew of Johnny, and I knew he was talented. But I have this thing. I'm like, I don't want, I'm going to get the guy who was the guy, but he wasn't really the guy, and blah, blah, blah. And then I listened to Johnny's music of his own. And I said, it'd be nice to share that music with other people. And not just that. I think I've listened to your podcast and I watched the things you do, and I was up the prostitute thing is back, or whatever this is. Hold on.
Now she's talking about selling strips.
Yeah.
Online. Which were are we talking about, strips or strips? Oh wait.
It's amazing that we're getting so spam. This is new. I'm going to block them this time. I put them in a timeout. Now I'm going to get stern.
Yeah, they're probably following me from all my logging onto RedTube.
Oh, that's your spot. Okay, I think we handled it.
I don't know what that is. I think that's about a red television.
Let's see. Stu's here. Oh, now here's something. Someone wanted to see you play some guitar, but I want to know, Johnny, did you work out my song? Did you work out my theme song?
We're doing a theme song? What happened?
No, you didn't work it out. It's all right. You know who picked up the theme song and played it on the show? He only heard it in the introduction. He heard it play, and then he knew the entire song. And that was Andy Timmons.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's very good. Yeah, not that the song is that hard to learn, but
no, that guy's really good. I probably don't have it in my head enough, but I'll learn it next time.
Yeah, I think that
guitar college out here. I'll bring it over there.
Yeah, I think that you should pay more attention. In fact,
I had it off.
Anyway, for next time, it's there. So
I think I heard. Like that.
Yeah, I think that was close. I think that was close enough. Yeah, I think that was Johnny, I would like to play some music with you, but I'm scared that you are what they call a musician. And my thing is like, I believe there's no wrong way to play music. You might agree too, though, because you like Zappa and some weird stuff. I think that listen, you're an educated musician and obviously can do the shredding and all that stuff too. But I think, I come from a more punk rock base. And I think that I like to use the cheapest instruments possible. Like the people who say they can tell the wood or they can tell what kind of battery and all that. I don't like those kind of people. I like, I got these things here and they make noise, and especially bass players. You plug the bass in, it goes boom. Anyone who says that they're looking for this tone and this and that, they're spending too much time. It's no matter what you plug it into, it's going to go boom. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion on music. This is a funny one here. I don't usually find the audience very funny, but this one's good. Johnny Monaco should form a band called Close is Enough.
I've heard that actually, like
so
Justin Hoff and stuff like that. I'm still that whole thing, man. I mean, they're still out there playing. They're this weekend, right? They're in Florida. Is that coming up, right?
So the my song is in standard tuning, just for the record.
That's why it took me a second to find the B flat. Yeah.
Sebastian Bach told me that if you're going to put if you're going to make a record, you gotta do it in A440.
And I kind of agree with them on some stuff, but last night it probably should have been tuned down 3 steps.
Punk music does not sound good tuned down. We tried it because we thought it would be easier on our singer Scotty's
Too
voice.
muddy. Yeah.
It's just and it's dark all of a sudden. You turn a fun Ramones song into Black Sabbath. It doesn't. It doesn't work. Anyway, I'm reading all these comments. But so the fake Bullet Boys. No offense to anyone who's a fan, are going to play in Florida. What an interesting gig that is. The Key West Jam or whatever it's called, and. I always find it funny when you see Eddie Trunk. I like Eddie Trunk, by the way. He's a friend of mine, and I like him. And I don't, but he's always hosting something. He's always hosting something. I'll be. He was hosting Frankie Banali's funeral service. And he called it a gig. And I'm thinking, how bizarre is that? But so anyway, this thing in Key West is happening, and they are going to pull a Bullet Boy bait and switch. That people are expecting, and that is why Mick Sweeter went on and did these interviews because, they think they're going to see the original lineup of the Bullet Boys, and when they get there, they are going to see Mark Torian. They're going to see some local guys from LA that you probably have never heard of, and that's that. And Bang Tango is going to pull the same. I think actually Bang Tango is coming up first, or both of them.
Well, I don't see them on the bill. I thought they were taking the place of the Bullet Boys, but you're saying Bullet Boys are playing, and so is Bang Tango.
Bullet Boys is doing something, but Bang Tango is supposed to be on that band. And when Mark Knight, the guitar player for Bang Tango, was on the show, he explained to me that they were those guys didn't want to do the cruises, and they didn't want to go on very low on a bill. They were very angry about where they would go on the bill. And this show coming up, they are at the bottom. They're under bands like Vixen. I'm not insulting Vixen, but they're very low on this bill, and I think it's interesting to see what that is going to happen. For younger people, maybe you do go see a fake Bullet Boys or a fake Bang Tango because maybe that's all you're going to get. I was seeing a young woman who took me to see the Yardbirds, and the drummer was the only Yardbird. He had it was like the Yardbirds experience, and he was like Bobby Blotzer. But the band was very good, really talented guys. There was a guy from Ram Jam in the band, and then there's some blues guy that everybody loves, Johnny something or other. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Lang.
No, not him.
Oh.
Everyone talks about this guy, like Johnny Ace, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. He sounds like a pool player.
But people, yeah, pool shark. Anyway, so sometimes you got to see what lineup you can see, unfortunately. Although I think it helps when you have the singer. And I think that some bands, maybe Enough's Enough, could use the singer. When's the last time you spoke to Donnie V?
And a priest. Oh, I haven't spoke to Donnie in like a year. I mean, last time I spoke to him, he asked me to do that intro for his new video, and then I never heard it from him again.
Party Time, yeah, and he didn't credit you for it.
No, I think the event in Florida is going to really, be a good one and really get over, because unlike some of the cruises, you actually have to show that you have coronavirus to go to Florida.
Yes,
so
you have to have a positive. Yeah, no, you're correct. You have to have a positive test. That's how they keep it safe. If everybody has a positive test, then they don't have to worry about anybody catching it. That's what I heard.
I think I've had it twice, and I didn't even have to go to Florida. But I just, a couple weeks ago, I think I had it again, and man, I can't take any more of those. They're brutal. I can't take any more. So I bought all the masks. I got. I mean, I've been doing it the whole time, anyways. But somehow I got it. And
you perform here in Las Vegas quite a bit. And you have some solo shows coming up, and I want to make sure we talk about that. You're going to be playing at a place called Aces and Ales, and one of the co-owners of Aces and Ales is Kerry Kelly. Speaking of guys who are not the guy but played in bands with guys, he's been in every band. You just look at a cruise, and he's been in every one of those bands.
He's great.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And thank you to 81 Shovelhead. I'm going to guess. I don't know how to say it, but. I'm going to take Johnny Monaco out for Starbucks with that. I'm going to have a
that was nice
roll, and Johnny is going to have. You don't drink those foo things, do you? Like those macchiato caramel frosted half-calf soy whip with a cherry on top. You don't do that, do you?
No, I mean I have an espresso machine, so I just make it. But I realized I'm getting fat, so I am not. I went to. Dutch Brothers. I thought it was a paint shop, but evidently they have coffee there, and it was really good. And it was one of those kind. I kind of want to get another one. It's like a milkshake, but those are good. I mean, I can only drink so much of that. I mean, it was a little sweet.
I'm diabetic. I can't do it.
Yeah, but I don't want to get. I'm starting to get like when you sit down, that little part goes over the belt. Like I never had that before, and now I'm starting to get that, and I cannot with that. So I can't drink those anymore. No.
Yeah, I hear you. Someone's asking about the laptop fund. I got to get a new laptop, and I'm not too proud to go on here and tell people that I'm working on it. But no. Now, a Rockefeller here is asking, Rockefeller or Rockefeller. He's asking about, he's saying no custard. And that's an interesting thing. Johnny, I don't know if we talked about this.
I heard about this place. Yeah, I want to go there.
Yeah. My domestic partner told me, you should get together with Johnny Monaco, and you should go to places around town and put it on the show and see what
I'll do that.
Comes from it. Yeah,
that sounds good. Yeah,
and because my domestic partner said I don't like to use he, she. I like they, them. I like to do use or yours. Because I try to keep it correct. But they said, how funny would it be if you would have really went ice skating with Johnny Monaco? And I thought, you know what? I kind of thought we were just bullshitting on the air. We say it. Then I thought, what a fun video that would be. But where we got to go is to Love It Custard. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. I used to talk to a guy named Jakey Lee. Everyone wants to have him on the show. I don't know how the hell to get him on the show. But I will tell you that I've talked to him for hours in person. He told me about a place here. I believe it's called Bocce Burger. And he likes this Japanese hot dog. And he says it's incredible. Then he told me about a place called Love It Custard. And he said that Warren DeMartini of Rat flew in to see Aerosmith with him. And they had it. And they liked it so much that the Warren said, I got to go back again. And they have different flavors every day. And it sells out. It's open until they run out. And I think we've got to go. If Jakey Lee and Warren DeMartini, who knows? Maybe we'll be better performers if we have some of this damn custard. Maybe it's in the custard.
I'm willing to try it. I like custard.
Yeah, and they're not a sponsor, but and we got $10 now. After YouTube takes their cut, we got about $1 for custard.
Yeah, we're going to need some more of those funds. So if everybody could help me out with this custard relief plan, because Lord knows black is slimming, and everybody out here wears black. So I'm just trying to fit in.
Let me see what custard they have today, because I think a lot of people want to have this stuff, And
I heard it's really good. I think what happened was I went to that Five Guys twice in 1 week. And I didn't realize how much food you get. I mean, it was $22, but I had a banana shake, and I just, along with the hamburger, which I thought was a normal sized hamburger, it's not. And they throw these French fries in there. I mean, I was.
They throw the French fries in the banana shake?
No, they put the thing in the bag, and then whatever extra, they throw it on top. So there were so many fries, and this hamburger and this shake. Then I think I still had the coronavirus, so I couldn't really eat it. I wasn't hungry, but then I went back for a second time, and it was. You can't eat like that. You got to stop eating hamburgers. What I need is someone to, cook. I mean, I had tried cooking. Well, I don't like whatever I make. It's terrible.
Find somebody who can sing and then can also cook and clean.
I need what I need is a wife.
Yes.
I can't say that anymore.
That's it. You can't say wife, though. I think you have to say a domestic partner. So let's talk about the flavor of the month. Flavors is fresh banana nut. Not making that up.
Fresh banana nut. That was my nickname in college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So what's today's date? Today is, anyone know? Today's the 14th. Today they're serving peanut butter and chocolate chip. I don't think that's a great move. They're too similar. Peanut butter and chocolate chip. You got to have something different. How about something fruity? Can't say what I'm thinking. But then tomorrow they're having cherry pie and Heath Bar. Now that sounds good. And I think that one of the members of Warrant is going to be scooping out the cherry pie. Not that they wrote that song. And then on the 16th, you get the fresh banana nut, which is everyone's talking about now, and almond chip. And then next week, you got very berry, chocolate pretzel, mint chocolate chip, and mocha frappuccino. That's not a good day for me. That doesn't sound good.
No.
And then the 20th, they have lemon and cookies and cream. Next week, they've got champagne cherry. Now, that sounds good. And some birthday. Listen, we'll go to the Love It Custard, and we'll call Warren DeMartini. And
I'm sure he'll pick right up.
Yeah, I've got his number. I'm sure he will not answer, but we're going to give it a shot. And I see people joking about what could be the Blabbermouth headline. I'm not sure we made a Blabbermouth headline here. I don't know, but we'll find out. Blabbermouth.
Yeah, someone was commenting and saying, I'm funny. It's a better interview when I'm not doing shtick. I don't really do shtick. I mean, I was just commenting along, and we got a big one here. And I was just commenting along, and sometimes it goes funny.
So now, Johnny, I don't mean to cut you off, but Be Happy, who is watching from, I believe, New Zealand. I don't want to screw that up, but I believe it's New Zealand. So we got 50 Zealish euros.
Hey, thanks, Be Happy. That was very nice of you.
So we're Johnny and I will go and we will taste some of the stuff for you, and it's on you.
Fat.
And Warren might, you know what? This might bring him out. This might now that you talk about Love It Custard, he might come out. I will tell you something. I've had amazing private conversations with Warren DeMartini. He is a smart guy. He's an interesting guy. He's got all kinds of stuff. I wish he would come on the show. I told him we don't even have to talk about Rat, the business and the politics and the lawsuits. But I'm hoping, this is just between us and the few million people watching, I'm hoping one day that Stephen and Warren mend fences and do a Page Plant kind of thing. And the two of them go out there, because if you want Rat, those are the two you need. You got to have them. These other two bozos, not necessary. But that's, who knows? That's just me. And as far as these, sometimes when Johnny comes on, I last time you were on, you appeared on the Christmas special. That was meant to be a little goofy. Now, I had connection issues. Everybody thinks I made that up. They thought that I was just setting you up to do your thing.
That was great.
My internet went down. And I thought I was doing funny straight man humor with you as you were doing the vaudevillian approach. And speaking of vaudevillian humor, I've heard, and maybe I read this in the Post, but did you have some kind of blackface controversy?
Oh, jeez. No, what happened was, for some reason, I decided to grow my beard in, and I like Ryan Johnson, my friend Ryan Johnson over at Rebel Tickets, also a half owner of Aces and Ales.
Yeah, I know.
He told
Ryan.
me he's like, you look like Whitey Bulger right now. You can't go out like that. Like, what are you talking about? Very critical of my look. He's like, it's all white, old man in the sea. I'm like, that's just how it. I'm gonna shave. So he's like, well, you got to do something, or you can't work here. So I colored it. I put beard dye because I've done it before.
Can I show the picture?
Well, let me finish this. Yeah, you can show the picture. I was really, just coming in still. So I put too much on. I like rubbed it all over my face.
Did you sing Mammy that night?
So I rubbed it all over my face. I thought that's how you do it. And I'm in the shower. I let it 10 minutes and I go to wash it all off. And I open the curtain. I look in the mirror. It's like Al Jolson. And I got to go play a show in like an hour at Mandalay Bay. And I'm like, they got kind of a mixed crowd over there. I don't want them thinking I'm a jerk. So I'm trying to get it off. And I can't get it off. Like rubbing it with the towel and soap. And I'm rubbing it and it's not coming off. And I'm getting nervous. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I just kept rubbing it with a towel. And I basically exfoliated like 3 layers of my skin. And it was all red, glowing. I'm like, all right, well, this looks red. And I go do the gig. Nobody said anything. Zuder was like, oh, I like the look. So I'm like, I don't know. So I cut my mask on. And then I woke up the next day and it was all swollen and bruised, or scabs starting to form. And it was terrible. And that went on for about a week and dead skin's coming off. So I just had to Neosporin. I'll tell you what, fixes anything. And I just put Neosporin on every night and now it's okay. But I mean, it's smoother. So in the long run, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix. But it's still, it's okay. I just didn't want it all white because it just, George Lynch looks okay when he does it. But me, I'll just look like a crazy person running around.
Well, George Lynch is also a little bit older than you.
Well, yeah, but he still looks good.
George Lynch, and not playing around, George Lynch is probably approaching 70 years old. He looks great.
Well, I'm right behind him. But it's like, I don't know why I even did that. Sometimes I'll grow it in and then I'll shave it off. I had a really, really heavy beard for a while, but the sleeping's a problem. The eating, I don't understand the beard thing. To me, it's just like a way of not having to upkeep things.
I agree.
And I'm sure girls do it in a sense, like when they let their dogs bark and they don't tell the dog to stop barking. If they don't have that dog's life in check, what do you think's going on with their life? And if their life's not together, what do you think's going on down there?
You ever date a girl with a small dog? I find them to be the worst.
That they just let them bark and bark and bark. There's one down here. She walks it, and the dogs are barking. And some people will be like immediately on it, like, shh, we don't do that. Like when people talk to their kids in Target, we don't bark now. And they'll scoop it up, and the dog, it's not barking. She just lets it. Oh, really? The dog's like, rah, 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 just spinning in circles, smelling the dog's butt, like rah, rah. And I hear it. It's one person all the time. She's got to not have it together. You got to be able to keep the dogs together. Well, anyways, this whole thing is a process, and if you got to keep doing it and dyeing it, or it gets like peppered, which is like a thing now. I get, but I just don't know that it goes really with rock music. I mean, it does if you're playing 70s, but like stuff I'm doing, I don't know. I just like to mix it up. So
well, thank God that this didn't become a scandal, because in this day and age, the last thing you want to do is get caught in blackface. For a while it was kind of hip. It was hip, but yeah. Anyway, some people think that you do a sort of Uncle Floyd variety show. I don't think anyone watching knows who Uncle Floyd is, but he was a legendary East Coast a variety show host and vaudevillian. He introduced the world to bands like the Ramones. But so sometimes people think it's doing shtick. And, sometimes I like having you on here to do shtick. And other times we are here just to chat. There's been a lot of people watching. And so obviously people are interested. I think it's fun. I think that one of the things that people like about the show is that it's not planned out, even though it sounds like Johnny and I went over this for hours. So Looney Skip Rooney, somebody knows the Uncle Floyd show. And you don't want to get canceled for a beer die. Minstrel Monaco. And
I was just trying to fit in, but I just thought it would come off. But once it grows in and you brush it, then I'm sure that it's just, it's easier. But when it's just coming in, it's just too much on your skin. And boy, that was painful.
Yeah, I can only imagine. That's why I just, I'm not old enough to grow facial hair, but when that time comes, I'm not going to put on the.
I'm a boy.
Exactly, on the dye. So we went over a lot of things today, and I think a lot of people enjoyed it. But I was saying that people like to hear the sort of behind the scenes things. And a lot of these shows don't talk about it. And, traveling these days, and as people will see in my tour diary with Stephen Piercy, it is not the most glamorous thing at times, but people do it because they really are, Stephen Piercy is a rock and roll lifer. And I say, when a band comes to your town, it's not like the old days where they just got off the bus and they're making $1 million. Sometimes you went on 4 or 5 flights. Johnny knows he was in LA Guns. He probably took 11 flights to get from Vegas to Salt Lake and then had a bumpy drive the rest of the way and had to iron. I mean, he didn't have it easy all the time. And so anyway, go support these bands, even if they only have one member, but not a bass player singing. That's not really good. But and listen, I don't know. Maybe Chip will come on here and he'll straighten us all out. Because this
I'm sure he will.
Yeah, this year is going to happen, and I'm going to see all these people. It's eventually going to happen. And I have to remember what I said bad about people. I don't think I said anything bad, to be honest. Sometimes it's true. Johnny has bad back.
These people, no, that's something for the chair. These people, this guy, Jeff, going up and playing 2 songs at the end of the show is lame. Piercy said it as well.
But do you know what he means? I don't even know what he means. I think we're misunderstanding. Jeff, clear up what you're talking about.
It was a benefit for someone who passed on. It was a celebration of life. We're there for this. What's your point?
Yeah.
I swear
I don't know. I don't know if we completely understand. Somebody says that today is Phil Lewis' birthday, so let's wish him a happy 78th birthday. And he's
no, that was the other day. That was a couple days ago.
I know this is all they're giving me old material, but and we wish him the best, and to the rest of the Munchkins that he leads. And yes. You act as if he's calling you again. You know what I mean? Like, or you're just thinking, I'm going to do one of these charity gigs, and then sure enough, they're going to roll it out, and the little person's going to chug it. And he's going to come in with that green outfit. Hey, kids, here it is, your Uncle Phil. I just don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, this one here is funny. So Piercy, before we went on, me and Johnny were checking our microphones and talking about how Piercy kept saying, I would say, are you sure you can't hear me? He'd say, I'm sure I can't hear you. And I go, you can't hear anything? I'm saying nothing. And what I love the best is, Chris in the chat is a giant fan of Philip Lewis, Sir Philip Lewis of Munchkinland. And he says he's 43 years old, which is great. I'll tell you a funny thing about Phil Lewis. He has a tattoo with his actual birth date on his arm, but he lies about when he was born. Not the smartest move. But anyway, he's listen, it's not crazy to think that he can collect what's that thing you go to? Not Social Security. The
ARP?
ARP. Yes, thank you. The RIP. RIP.
I got that.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Okay, so everyone's having a good time. There's a few thousand people watching. I'm happy that they're all here. Johnny's analyzing each and every one of your comments.
Well, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, if we're supposed to, like, not give them, just don't pay attention to it, and you see it and, say something. I mean, if they want to just reach out and start arguing, I mean, I'll do that. If they got a point and it's valid, then okay,
That never happens. I wish that people would have a point. It does not. I mean, I appreciate everyone who watches, and I get it, and I dig them, and I like their support. And it's the people who comment negatively on the videos. They're never funny. They always think that they're funny.
Right. I just wish we could just wrangle them up and do like a UFC style thing. We get them, find some place and rent it out. I will wrestle all of them.
I will only wrestle women between 90 pounds and 110 pounds. But
all right.
I will kick their ass.
You do that part. And I'll do whoever thinks they're tough. And then we'll see
what
happens.
Yeah, that's a rat song. That could be your intro when you come into the ring.
Say every time I go somewhere, I want to fight the fans. It's the coffee, by the way.
Yeah,
terrible.
Let's see here. Michael Anthony Summer 2022 tour. See, that's kind of funny. I mean, because we're talking about bass players trying to front the band, and at least he's got photo walks with Jimmy J. He's got material, and maybe I promoted something for him, which I'm okay with. We're going to have Michael Anthony, his hot sauce on the show. Not necessarily Michael Anthony, but we're going to try his hot sauce. And it better be good because it's expensive. I'll tell you that. It's expensive. I see people talking about noon chucks. Johnny, I got to ask you, what is your favorite Bruce Lee movie?
Wow.
It's not a lot to choose from. And let's say, I think there's 5 real ones.
Yeah. Well, there's one of them has a multi-name, but I want to say Return of the Dragon, the American version.
You and I, we could go on Match Game because
hey,
that's
which
always been the one I think.
You know which one's this one's from?
That looks like Fist of Fury, but I could be wrong.
Big Boss, yeah.
Big Boss.
Fist of Fury, yeah, same thing. Yep.
Yeah, it's. I was thinking about it last night because I said I've had you on a few times and we never talked about our mutual love for Bruce Lee and his movies. And everybody says Enter the Dragon, and there's no wrong answer. Enter the Dragon's a great movie. That's more of an Americanized, obviously.
It's popular. It's most popular. It's their Round and Round.
It's definitely the Round and Round. Did you know that Mr. Han was voiced by an actor named Key Luke, and Key Luke is the man in Gremlins who gives him the Mogwai? Did you know that?
I didn't know that. Bruce
Lee trivia, because the actor who played Mr. Han did not speak English, as a lot of the actors didn't at the time. It's the only movie that Bruce Lee, I think, uses his
right. They dubbed in the words.
Yeah, they dubbed it in.
You have gratitude. Remember that part.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I think that Return of the Dragon has it has a story that people can relate to even now. I mean, they all do. I know a lot of people like Chinese Connection for the acting and the deep, and the deep
right up
story.
There with Godfather.
Yeah, but there's more. The family story is a little deeper with that one than the other ones. But yeah, I think Return of the Dragon is my favorite as well.
It's great. The whole scenario, the going into the restaurant and how he has to defend them, and he does all the great moves. Movement number 4, dragon seeks path.
Dragon with tail.
Yeah, and he's spinning back kick and with those shoes. I had those shoes. I had all that stuff. I used to go in the garage and watch the video and draw the foot on the ground and copy the moves. That's the only way to learn Chinese kung fu at that time because nobody was teaching it in Mount Prospect.
The first Bruce Lee movie I saw was Game of Death on Fox 5. It was called the Karate Drive-In movie. Of course, it's a kung fu movie, but okay. And I had to learn, there was no Wikipedia. And And I had to learn that most of the movie's not Bruce Lee. You know, at the end,
Right. Yeah.
Flips. But the movie always had a kind of special place in my heart. Colleen Camp, she was always hot, and she was in Porky's later. You know, so she has a string of great movies.
Yeah.
and so that was the first one I saw, and I started to discover all these Bruce Lee impersonators and things, anyway, I could talk about Bruce Lee all day, but I wanted to make sure we got that in because you're wearing the shirt.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I just threw something on. I was trying to mix it up. I always tend to wear the same shirts and a lot of things, and it looks like I don't have which I don't really have a lot of good clothes, but I like this shirt.
Yes, well, that's what's great about this show for me is that I can film it from the waist up. And I look at these people who do these shows, and they've got these green screens and fancy lights and all that shit. And that's good. And maybe one day I'll have a little more. But I like coming on here and talking to people. That's the gimmick. The gimmick is not I don't have any catchphrases. You know, I don't have any hand gestures, you know, and I don't and then if I don't have someone who I think is going to be a good guest, I'd rather not have someone on. And that's why I was fortunate to have you this morning.
Oh, well, I appreciate you asking.
See, this is
ready to go.
This is a funny one here. No need for me to even comment, but it's funny, you know, and I like him and he's been on the show, but he's got some experimental ideas on medicine. Okay, now Jeff cleared up what he said, Johnny. See, that's why you can't get mad at people so fast.
Yeah, I try not to. Maybe I read it wrong. You know, maybe it doesn't translate. I'm just really quick to
okay, so basically, I had Stephen on the show, and we were talking about the Lynch Dawkins thing, and he thought it was ridiculous that George Lynch thinks it's ridiculous. He told me that he's getting on stage for 2 minutes, and then I see that my gimmick is my jacket, and that is true. It's like I'm like kind of like Adam Curry hosting the Headbangers Ball. You know, I wouldn't be rock and roll if I didn't, put on the jacket. You see, if I take the jacket off, it's not the same. Now, see, I like.
Oh yeah, well, it's different. You know,
I like that you can go, robotically around the house. You know, what do you got in the refrigerator, Johnny? Do you stock up?
I used to buy groceries, and then I'm like, what's the difference if I buy this steak for $12 and a potato that's $1.20 and vegetables and it adds up, it's like $18, you know, or if I just go buy one in a restaurant, I save like $7. So I haven't really been buying a lot of food.
Well, I see. That looks like I can't believe it's not butter.
So yeah, I have some. I like this. I like this one.
Looks like
this is. I'm a big fan of grape juice. Get some water. I got those Todd Kearns nectars.
Yes, that's very good. That's from Canada.
Yeah, this is. I actually 2 of those. I actually overbought. Look at, there's nothing in there. This looks like John Hinckley Booth's refrigerator.
You got a little hummus down there, though.
Yeah, I got some hummus here, and I got that. I'm going to try this.
Nope.
I don't know. There's nothing in any of these drawers. And I got some of this stuff. I had to return some shrimp sauce so I got this one. I still have the receipt in the other room. And then,
why did you have to return it?
Because I opened it up and it didn't taste good. So I just didn't like the
that. You can just take it back.
I asked her. She said, "Yeah, if you got the receipt," but it's been so long, and it was only like $2, so I probably won't even do it. And this is like, from going out. I try to organize everything, but I
got that too. I got that too in my fruit. That same exact.
The guy from Aces and Ales gave me a bunch of these. He's like, "You got to drink them because they go bad." IPAs. But I don't really. This is ridiculous.
That's a craft beer place. Are you a craft beer drinker? Are you a pretentious guy like that?
No, I mean I'm not, because you get fat if you drink beer like that. But plus I can't really drink anymore. I wake up the next day. It's terrible. Feel terrible. Got
vitamin regimen. Yeah.
Trying to not have the plague.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of vitamins and doing all that, and
you got a toaster oven.
I got it. Yeah, this is the first thing I bought when I got here. It's just a cheap little toaster, and then these are good.
Well, that goes good with the hummus. Yeah,
that's right. And I tried to eat these, but after the coronavirus, they don't taste good anymore.
On YouTube, you shouldn't say that. You got to call it like the C or something, or the play.
Okay, well, whatever. If anybody wants these, they can have them.
What is?
And then these are great. I'm really into everything bagels, but again, I probably should cut down. This is not helping my diet, and these are good for your heart, and this is good. And then I get
the low sugar version. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. These are my glasses from Chicago, the place Mickey Finn's. I used to play it all the time. These are the only glasses I have. And I got some.
You got a lot of seasonings.
Yeah, but I don't use any of them.
They look good though.
This is Portillo's.
I bet when the bitches come over, they're impressed.
Yeah, they think I really do something.
I hear that Portillo's has the best hot dogs. I hear. Is that true?
Oh, it's fantastic. I can't get that out here. This is really the main thing I use. My Nespresso machine. And then, you got the pods. You put the pods, and then you put the pod in there, and you just put the cup right there. You're done. And I took this from the restaurant the other day. This one I don't really use because everyone's like, "Oh, you got to try this coffee. It's really good." I don't like it, so I had to buy this thing to grind it. My cutting board. I mean, there's nothing in here. Oh yeah, I got this. I was gonna make spaghetti sauce, so I bought all this stuff, and then I got lazy, so that never happened. And then there's
you keep a pretty clean house, Johnny. I think you're gonna make a good wife one day.
I mean, yeah, my baking area. I don't I don't use any of this stuff. I bought a whole pan kit.
When your voice gets raspy like that, you sound like you might be ready for some enough's enough.
It's from yesterday, man. Singing Neon Nights. I got all these pans, these really nice ones too. Mm-hmm. Really nice. Cuisinart.
I don't think people realize that you live in a deluxe apartment in the sky.
I hate this place. I want to get out of here as soon as possible. There was another emergency the other day with the alarm system in here. It's all every week. There's an emergency.
If people don't watch, I suggest you go to Johnny's Instagram and you follow it. He has really funny videos about this. He lives in this security arms apartment where they have a speaker in his house that can talk, and people can talk to him. I love the Buffalo 66 poster, by the way.
Here, you'll like this one. That's an original. That's cool, right?
Yeah, you got some of my Buffalo 66 and Enter the Dragon, two of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I was going to work with, I was scratching my nose there for a second because I thought we were just looking at you. I was going to work with Vincent Gallo. What is that? Where's the check?
My mom sent me a check for my birthday. She's like, "You're dead to me. Here's $200." No. Go ahead. I love that movie. That's like my favorite movie.
So I was I'll tell this story. I've never told it before, just for the people watching. And John Monaco, I think you'll like it too. Hey, look who there it is.
This is another original that nobody has. This is from the Japan tour.
That's a great one. And that's the Ricky Parent also, right?
Ricky, Donnie, Chip, and the Help.
Look at you when you were a young man.
Real serious in that one.
All right, Johnny Monaco, I'm going to tell you my Buffalo 66 story.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You continue the tour. So okay. I owned this company that specialized in adult movies from the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Called Paradise Visuals. And,
right. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. And so we had a booth at the AVN convention, which is the Adult Video News. Mm-hmm. And it was in the big convention center. And so this guy comes up to me with a crazy long beard, and he also has Vincent Gallo with him.
Yeah.
I recognized Vincent Gallo right away. And I didn't recognize this guy with the crazy beard. And the guy with the crazy beard goes, "You should put out the Tracy Lords movies, but cut out the sex scenes." Tracy Lords was underage in these movies. And I said, "I don't think you can even put her in the movie without it." And that's when I realized who it was. It was Rick Rubin. And I said, "Well, if I put it out, will you back it?" Anyway, so me and Vincent Gallo become buddies. We become pals. Yeah. And he tells me he's desperately trying to find a movie from the 70s called Water Power. But it was originally called The Enema Bandit. And I found it for him. I found like a legal print of it. And it's a really amazing movie starring an incredible actor named Jamie Gillis.
Okay.
And Jamie Gillis, he lives in New York City. This is like a taxi driver movie shot in Hell's Kitchen. And Jamie Gillis is watching his neighbors through his windows, and he feels that these women are cheating on their husbands, and that the only way that he can get them in line is to give them enemas. He goes to this place where he learns about enemas, and he becomes obsessed with it, and he starts to kidnap people, and he goes crazy. And anyway, Vincent Gallo turned me on to this highbrow movie. And he told me that he wanted to win an AVN award movie and he made a movie called The Brown Bunny, which is him going around on a track. And he explained it to me. He wanted to work with me, and we went on for a long time. And then he was very close with Johnny Ramone, my hero. And then Vincent Gallo disappeared from my life. Fast forward, I'm at a Guns N' Roses concert at Dodger Stadium. And we're backstage. I'm bragging a little bit. And sitting on a couch is Jeff Pilson and his lovely wife, Ravinder. And Jeff is massaging her feet. I don't know why he decided to massage her feet backstage at the Guns N' Roses concert, but he did. There is Vincent Gallo staring hungrily at Ravinder's feet. And he's just like licking his lips. And he's probably, I don't think anyone even knew, but he just stood there for 10 minutes. And then I talked to him, and we reminisced about water power. Feel free to look it up, but not Helena. Helena, this conversation is probably not for you. But come back in a few years, and we can discuss all of these things and more. So anyway, who now? So who are we mad at? somebody in here wasn't nice. Oh, it's Lynch, of course. It's Lynch. Yeah.
Why? What did they say?
I think he was mean to Helena.
Oh, don't do that. Leave her alone.
I'll tell you a Lynch story real quick, Johnny Monaco. Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. There was this kid. He was 12 years old, and they said he was going to be the next big thing. I don't know if he is, but George played with him, and he blew smoke in his face the whole time. He had a lit cigarette in this little kid's face while they jammed, and it was just blowing smoke into the kid's face. But the kid had to learn. You know what I mean? You got to learn somewhere.
Well, I don't know if it probably should have went remote like that, because it looked like I have a double chin. I just, why I don't do these things. I don't know what's going on anymore. I always think, oh, he looks all right, normal. And you get a weird angle, and it's like, ugh.
Johnny, show us the view before you get too worried about things.
Oh yeah. I was just trying to read the reviews so I can know whose brake lines I need to cut. I just yeah, I don't like this place. But I have just like area over here. Mm-hmm. I wonder if I could spin my camera around. Can you do that on this?
I don't know.
Come on now. Well, anyways. Oh,
something happened. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean,
there you go.
I got some guitars over here.
Mm-hmm. Those look nice. They don't look like pretentious guitars.
This one's really cheap. Tracy Guns gave me an amp at the end of a tour. He's like, oh, you sound great. I got a lot of these dime amps. You can have one. I'm like, what? So he gave me this dime amp. And it's kind of a metal amp.
Right.
Dimebag Darrell amp. I don't really, it sounded good, but I had it and I never used it. And so I traded it for a Telecaster for this one. Mm-hmm. But it used to be black. But it's an 80s Squire, the good one. And Squire, people think Squires are shitty, but they're good because it's an older one. But it was really heavy. It had a black body. So I put a Guitar Fetish body on here. I traded it out. So now it's super light. It's like that Paulino wood. And so I kept the neck on there. And it plays really good. It's got EMGs in it. So I use that one for some stuff. And then this is an American Strat. This is a really good one. It's like my Yngwie guitar. It's got no finish on the fret or on the fretboard. There's finish on the back. That's how I like it. And then these are stacks. And it's a total Yngwie sounding guitar. And then this one's also kind of like that too. This is a Squire also, but it's a reissue kind of version. Mm-hmm. So I have 2 RG 550s or 3 of them, but something wrong. This is the one I mainly use, and there's something wrong with the fret in that other one, so I got to get it fixed. I'm supposed to get a guy to fix my fret. So yeah, I don't know. I just got some posters up. I just tried to do something in here. It looks like a 15-year-old's bedroom, but I bought this thing on Wayfair. It's like, oh, it's postmodern vintage. I'm going to make the whole place look cool. Mm-hmm. And now it's all I got are 2 cool things in the middle of whatever this is. So nothing matches. If you're going to do it, you have to do everything. And it's going to be thousands of dollars. And I'm not staying here. So I didn't want to go crazy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what that I wanted it all to look like this. I wanted it all to look cool, and it just doesn't. So I got some stuff up there. I tried to record over here, so I put together like a little area in the corner.
Yeah.
That I can record in. I made a little vocal booth back there.
Nice.
And this side, I got some Beatles. This is the Beatles side. And this is kind of a cool poster. This one over here. Got all the records on it. And Houdini. And a reprint.
Yeah, we've never got into your magic. We'll save that for next time because actually you did a little magic on the Christmas special.
I did. The raccoon stole the show, but that's pretty much what's happening in here. And it's just like just this, right? And then this is anytime I see a big door like that, I'm like, oh wow, this place is awesome. Look at how big the door is. Doesn't even matter. This place is stupid. See if there's anybody out here. Idiots.
Oh, it looks like you live in a hotel.
It is kind of like, oh yeah, it's a flop house for lunatics. It is a hotel. And the whole hallway smells like weed. Mm-hmm. And I don't have my shoes on. I probably should be walking around here, but this is
Big C.
Everybody thinks living like this is cool. It's not. Community living, not for me. Some people like it.
I mean, yeah.
Crazy people.
Yeah. I think it looks nice, but if you get loud neighbors, it could be rough. I think Johnny. I think he's out of the Wi-Fi.
This is where the elevator is. Well, here, trying to get back to service here. Can you hear me?
I think someone's saying George Jefferson lives down the hall. I think Mr. Bentley lives right next door, and he can come and walk on Johnny's back if he needs it.
Oh, it's a scene. This is my some posters. This one's cool. It's a reprint. I didn't make my bed because I didn't know we'd be doing like a walkthrough like this.
Hold on, Johnny. Someone's tipping us. Hold on. Once you got into your bedroom, we got a tip. Thank you to the Nerve Ensemble. Okay. I'm glad that you're joining us. And Johnny's showing us where the magic happens.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I
like the lights.
I didn't make my bed today because I got up early for this thing. Mm-hmm. But this is a super expensive Tempur-Pedic, which I still don't know if I like.
You look like you got a good pillow there. Let me see that pillow, Johnny Monaco.
The Tempur-Pedic pillow?
Yeah, it looks good, no?
Yeah. I mean, I was waking up in pain for like years, and I thought my hip was screwed up, and I went to the doctor. He's like, you're going to have a hip replacement. And then I bought a new bed, and it changed everything. So sometimes that's all you need. These doctors, they just want to cut into you. I mean, it probably still needs to get fixed because of a guitar player hip, but I don't wake up in pain anymore. I mean,
maybe we can get to if we talk about it enough, maybe they'll send us some.
A hip replacement? Yeah.
No, well, that too. Yeah, that too. You definitely want the plugs.
I just there's a sliding glass door here, like a tall, but I like it completely black. So I did a little construction on this thing, and I put that stuff on the window with the squeegee, with the soap, and it's like a cloth, and it covers it, and then I close the blinds, and I put this over it. Yeah, so when it's dark in here, I mean, I turn my lights on and off. I got these little switches on the ground.
Look at that.
I could do this, and then I'm got this over here, and then like different switches, and my air purifier. And just I don't have a lot of good clothes. I mean, I got some stuff in here, and I got the good TV in here. This is where the good one is.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And of course, the Canon series. I can't stop watching this.
Wow, I knew you'd have something good on. Yeah,
so good. I bought this at IKEA. This took forever to get to get and then to put together. It was a nightmare. So many pieces. Don't ever do that. Just buy it together.
I agree.
And I garbage picked this, but I cleaned it before I put it in. And this is the bed. This stupid bed was so much money. I'm never going to financially recover from this. Mm-hmm. So this is like, it's got this control. So when you're here, you hit the button, and it comes up.
Sounds amazing.
See that?
Yeah, I mean,
It's like you're in the hospital.
in the hospital, ready to die. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is how I
Ready
feel
to
every
have
time I come
Stephen.
home from a show. But
You're
it
ready to have
helps with
Stephen. You're ready to have Stephen Piercy and Sebastian Bach sing at your memorial service.
it really does help though with the pain. Like if you're sick or you can't breathe and stuff, and then if you just hit this zero gravity, it makes you feel like you're floating because then the legs come up.
They sell opiates to do that too.
Well, this is the less addictive version, although I am kind of addicted to this bed. And then if you just hit this flat button, it puts you back to normal. And you don't realize how weird it is to lay flat until you actually do that with the bed. Because then when you go back to flat, it feels kind of weird, like you feel stretched out. But I just don't know about these beds because you get in this like kind of groove. And then to roll out of it, it's like you gotta, but you're not supposed to toss and turn because then you don't get to REM. So you're supposed to just get in your groove like you're in a spaceship and then stay in it. And then it conforms to your body like you're in a capsule.
Yeah.
Ground control to Major Tom. And then you sleep better as opposed to, because usually I'm turning. I do this thing where I flip in the air and I flip over. And then but you can't do that anymore.
I have a hard time getting into REM. The happy shiny people thing turned me off, but before that, they made some great records.
REM, but it's like, yeah, I just I don't know. I mean, it's a little messy here right now, but this is where usually I come in here and I go to. This is where I go to sleep, obviously, and I kind of do this, and then I kind of wind down, and
I love it.
I got a little light here by the bed. Wait, I think I hear someone trying to break into my. They better hope they better. Oh, it was. I was hoping for. I really want someone to break in here because I will beat them to death with a Cuisinart pan. This is the bathroom area. I don't like the bathrooms in these places because there's no door connecting to the bedroom. It's like a thing out here, so all the steam comes into the room. But I did, I got this fancy BS curtain at the Bed Bath & Beyond, and then it just goes into here. And then they got the bathrooms out at this place. Who puts a toilet in a separate room? Yeah,
Yeah, the closet kind of thing.
Yeah, they got this like pocket door.
And then if you got a chick over, you can't. Oh, I love that. That's great. And then if you have a chick, you can't run the faucet because you're in the bathroom closet. It makes everything awkward.
No one's coming over. I have never had a guest. This Chip gave me this. And then I got this for my birthday. Like yours, it's got all the characters on it.
Nice. Cancel them. Some of them.
This is an original from like 1982.
Wow.
And I don't use this sink too much. And then you get this. It separates the room from the rest of the house. So it's like I prefer the toilet in the same room with the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
The separate thing. I know it's a thing out here. I don't like it. And everyone's always like, oh, that's not a big deal. Everyone does that. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't. Yeah, I got the washer and dryer right there.
That's important to have. A lot of people don't have a washer.
In case somebody breaks in there and you get smashed in the throat. And then I got all my stuff in here. Here's some 8x10s of me and Charlotte.
Right.
And I got my barber bag. It's my barber bag with all my barber stuff.
Johnny Monaco, where is Charlotte now?
She's in the storage area in a body bag. We get part of the deal with this place is you get a big U-Haul storage area, and the cables also included. So I got that going for me, which is nice. This is my I got this from the Aces place, and some laundry. Put my guitars. Like when I come in at night and I'm all drunk, I just wheel my stuff in. I put it right there.
That was Elvis Costello. People were asking if it was Donnie Irish or Elvis Costello. That was Elvis Costello.
Oh, yeah. That poster in the bathroom. Yeah, it's an Elvis poster. Japan. I got this. This is a cool jacket I just got the other day. It's like total Mark Torian jacket. It's
oh, yes. Yeah. Well, you thin guys can wear that kind of thing.
Well, I just realized that's when I put it on. I'm like, I need to lose some weight because it was kind of tight. So
I got to lose some weight. Don't start that until after we go to Love It Custard.
Oh, geez. But this poster is Game of Death.
I like the Nirvana
Or,
poster.
I mean, oh yeah,
a lot of people would be mad at you for having a Nirvana poster.
Well, I just thought it was cool. This is kind of a rare one. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't know why I think Chip gave me this one too. And he might have given me this. He gave me a lot of cool posters because he acquired a lot of them. And he knows I like certain things, so he ended up giving them to me, which was very nice.
Yeah.
But this is from Enter the Dragon. Yeah. This part, when O'Hara gets all mad and he runs at him, and he tries to do a kick, and Bruce Lee drops down and kicks him in the nuts.
I've got a poster signed by her, Anna Capri.
Yeah.
He's dead. And John Saxon, he's dead. And
They're all dead.
And it's also signed by Bob Wall, who is alive, believe it or not. O'Hara is alive.
O'Hara.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I'm not going to, and I asked Anna Capri if she would walk on my back. True story.
That's funny.
She's a
yeah.
car.
Here on the island. She, I
was looking for the owner of the start.
This place is it looks impressive at first, like when you're in the lobby, but stupid. And then out here, I'm up on the 11th floor of this place. So I take you out here. Let Kimmy get out. Dumb, stupid.
All right. It's probably about 65 degrees here. You're in Las Vegas. Beautiful pool. Do you ever go there?
I went in there once, but only to wash my clothes.
Right. Naturally.
There were supposed to be 5 of these. There's one here, one next to it. And there's supposed to be 3, 4, and 5, but they never finished. So you got this big empty area, which is fine though because it separates you from the boulevard. That's Las Vegas Boulevard. Mm-hmm. So to come off Las Vegas Boulevard, you got to go through there, through the roundabout, through another roundabout. But when you park, you come down the street Shelbourne, and you go all the way down. And those are the garbage cans that wake me up every morning, even though you think you wouldn't hear it up here, you do. And you go around the back and you go through, and there's a parking garage that I park in. And I thought those were going to be a problem, like the RV park, but they're not. They're quiet. You can't hear anything. It doesn't look pretty, but it's kind of a high end one. So it's they're cooking like duck over rice over there. But there's how
I feel about that.
There's the highway, and then California's that way. There's the South Point, and then if you look behind it, you could see the M over to the left.
Yeah.
And then that's, where those mountains are. That's the
M's got a great buffet. It's probably not open, but it's very good.
I'm guessing you're seeing all that. But this is kind of an eyesore, which they stopped building. So what people do is they fly down here. They go in that parking lot, and you can see all the marks. They do donuts, and I'm like, what the and I'm screaming at them from the balcony like a crazy person. But it wakes me up. It's aggravating. I mean, I'm pretty high up, too. I mean, I actually still get like, where that you could take one step and that could be it.
Yeah, I see. That would scare me.
Freaks me out. I don't like living in a high rise. I thought I would, and it's like, it's just too high up, and it's just like kind of freaks me out a little bit. But it's like, they got the dog park, which is dumb. And then there's the front is over there. And then that's Blue Diamond. And then the strip is like that way around the corner. That fucking guy. But that's the guy. He sits on his balcony and smokes cigarettes. And I smell it in here. And I've complained. And I have this collage. I go out there every day and I take a picture. I got like 50 pictures of him. I put it all together. I'm going to put it in the elevator. But I don't know that guy. I can't stand that guy. He sits out there and rocks back and forth like a tick. And then that's why I wanted to come back in, because he saw me. Do
you have any famous neighbors, Johnny?
No. There's no famous people in here. There's just strippers and people that smoke weed and think that that's a career.
Johnny, people get mad at me when I say the guest's name too many times. They were very upset that I addressed George as his name, George. People are really getting upset by that. And I know that when I'm trying to get someone's attention, I say their name.
I'm telling you, with these comments, we could make a whole show of just arguing with them. I don't know if they mean it like they're mad, or they want to just have you respond, or if they're just seriously upset about it, or whatever it is. But it's like, nitpicking, stupid.
Johnny is in Vegas. Some people thought you might be in Nashville with all the other rockers. Oh yeah, they're your neighbor's kind of famous though, because I've seen him on your Instagram.
I want to push him off the balcony.
I don't think you can say
if there was a way I could like take a 5-iron and just drive one right into his brain. I'm sorry, that's not nice. What I really was wanting is some poison darts, like in Game of Death.
nice. I hear that there might be I hear there might be a Donnie V news story today.
What are you talking? What are you talking about?
Somebody just broke in and said that there may be some kind of Donnie V story today. Yeah, something's happening. I don't think I can say much more.
Right now. Something's happening with him. Well, I know he's playing a show. He's got a show booked. Maybe that's that they're talking about.
Where is it at?
Somewhere in Wisconsin, like a turtle brain, turtle butt, turtle.
If he called you to play, would you do it?
I mean, I haven't talked to him in a while. I mean, I just like the song so much that I probably would. But I mean, it would depend on what's the writer situation.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
No, I would probably. I mean, if it was going to if I had to fly out and spend a bunch of money and take time off to do like one show, I don't know if I would do that. But if it was like something he really wanted to do and put something together, I wouldn't do that. I tried that with him 2 or 3 times. I'm always down for it. I think I love the songs. I think he writes great songs. If it's together and things are rolling, well, let me know. Otherwise, what am I supposed to do? You know, I'm busy out here looking at the hills. I've been real busy. It's the bedroom entrance.
He might be calling later today. I don't know.
Okay. Well, look at how long the balcony is.
It's a great balcony. You can run on the balcony.
Can you see the whole balcony? Look at that. Look how long it is. You think I would use this? Watch how far it is. I'll walk backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I fall, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's about 30 feet. I mean, what a waste, you know? You think they would have put a little more work into the interior of the place. And, you know, I need a little square balcony, but I'm a little freaked out being up here. It's sketchy, man.
I would be scared.
In the summer, I got a pool over there from the Cancun Crapola Inn, screaming kids. And then I got this one of screaming, vaping adults. So between the two of them and the people that fly down here with their pipes and the cars, I know I sound like I'm complaining, an old person, but it's just all day. I can't get a break, and I'm tired of it. So I just don't like it. I need a regular house. And this is, you know, I thought it'd be cool. You know, I thought, oh, the view, you know, it's nice. It's going to be. But after a couple times, it's like, cares, you know. But
I get it.
You know, Scotty Griffin likes it. He's the one who turned me on to this. Him and Cannon, Frank Cannon, lived on Sunset, the Sunset Towers. Look at he's gone already. The guy's gone. He goes out there and smokes. I have close-ups of that ashtray overflowing with butts, and I think, like I said, I take all these pictures. I know it sounds creepy, but I'm just doing it to kind of mock it. And then I'm in the elevator, and it's me and him, and he's looking at me, and I'm like looking at him, and I'm just like, you know, I could kill him right now with this iPhone. I bet they'll never find him. I got a storage container.
I don't know if you can say that, but what you
no,
can.
No, but I let it go. He didn't say hi or anything, so I didn't start a conversation because that's how they're out here.
What you can say, Johnny, is that you have a show coming up at Aces and Ales. We didn't really get into that. We got to promote it before everybody goes about their day. Tell me what people can. First of all, when is the show? I know you're doing a series.
Yeah, the first show is Saturday, January 22nd at the Aces and Ales Tenaya, which is up by Summerlin. Mm-hmm. I fit in better over there. And then the second one is February 18th, and the third one is March 12th. You can find all of that on my website at my.com. There's a shows tab. You can go to shows. And it's going to be, you know, me doing solo with tracks. I do a bunch of 70s. I do a bunch of current 80s, whatever. I just mix it up. I do a lot of like off you know, and I do a lot of the standard stuff. I try to, you know, mix it up and go deep. And Charlotte will be there. She's going to be signing 8x10. She gets a little mouthy, but she drinks too much.
Nice,
and,
Charlotte, your duo partner.
Yeah, she'll be there. I have a really cool poster. I don't know if I can show you, but something like that.
It's the thing that's behind the tripod?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Can you see that?
Yeah, nice.
In frame? I don't know if it's in frame. I can't see it.
No, it's in frame. And people can go to johnnymonaco.com and see that show live, and they'll get the dates.
Yeah, they can do that. And I also, 1 year ago, was removed from Facebook. And I don't know, something about a copyright infringement. I did one live stream. They said it wasn't that. I'm like, well, what was it from? And they couldn't give me an answer. But they said I violated it too many times. I never got a warning. I don't know what happened. And they kicked me off. So I just put together a new Facebook page. So if anybody wants to go there and hit likes and follows, I have a band page and a personal page. So go ahead and do that. I was
wondering where your Facebook presence was.
Yeah, I had a great one going for years and years. Like, I don't know, since the beginning of whenever they discovered fire. And I just had all my stuff, all my tours, every photo, all my, you know, everything I've done, all the, you know, in perfect order, all the places I lived, the schooling, everything, all gone. So I got to like start over, and it's kind of a big task. I don't even know if I can do it anymore. It's like, you can't rebuild that. You know, it'd be like if your house burned down and someone said, you know, here's the ashes, go ahead and build another one. I don't know where to start. It's daunting. And so I started one, whether I don't know if that means anything. I'm mainly on Instagram.
I think it's good to have, and you have a YouTube channel. And as I tell people, they can go and hear your music. They can hear you when you fronted Enough's Enough too. You have a lot of great live footage for people to see. And then again, she said she found her soulmate. We're hoping that's going to come out later this year. I'm going to work on a record deal for you, Johnny Monaco, because people got to hear this music.
Love it.
Yeah, and
that'd be great. Yeah, I'm almost finished with it. I just have to finish up a few things. I know I've said that before, but it's really close. I just need to finish it and get a reason to finish it. You know,
the world is waiting to discover you. For some people, rediscover you, and I think they'll really dig this record. I'm really glad that you come on the show again. I promise you that Johnny was more entertaining than the person who had to cancel because they were touchy. And not touchy in a cancel culture kind of way. It wasn't Harvey Weinstein, but he's welcome. Everyone is. But so anyway, it's been a great morning. I barely slept since we spoke. I slept like 30 minutes. I'll probably go to bed now. One of us has to live the rock and roll life. Although the place you're living is beautiful. Outside my window is a tree. That's it. Nothing. You probably like that though. The tree just blocks everything out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is with me. This place. I'm used to a house like with normal windows and a garage and stuff. Every time I go to the store to get anything, it's a huge ordeal bringing it up here, and then I got to see someone in the elevator, and I'm always like, "Hi." They don't say anything back. They just look down or look at the numbers. That's so weird, right? I mean, I don't want to have a conversation with them. I'm just acknowledging the person. They don't even do that out here, you know. And they're like talking. She's like chewing her gum, like going up to the penthouse.
I feel like you might be one of these guys like me who, I walk around saying, "Oh, I just hope I never fucking see anybody today." And then I get in the elevator, and go, "Hey, how are you? How's your day?" You know, I think.
Yeah, I don't know anymore, man. I don't know what to say. To say hi, don't say hi. So now I just like look at them. I just go. And if they don't say anything, I just go. And I walk out. That was great. You know, as opposed to going, "Hey, how's it going?" You know, introducing myself. It's like, well, why? They don't care. So, you know, why should I say hi?
Introduce yourself as a different person each time. I find that's...
Yeah, that would kind of mess with them like that. I don't know. Usually I'm in the elevator and, I'm in and out. But some people on my floor I'll see all the time, and she looks right at me and just walks past. It's weird. It's weird.
People are strange, as the song says. A lot of people want to see Johnny play. He'll come back and do that. We'll have him play a song from his record when it's time to promote it. And make sure you go to his website, go to Aces and Ales on Tenaya, and you can see him perform live. I'm going to try to get out there myself. And
that would be great.
Yeah, and we can get some Love It custard before or after.
Oh boy, that's something we definitely have to do.
We're gonna do it, and these nice people paid for it. But I'm not gonna have any of that crafty beer. That's you can have that.
It was a little heavy. It gets a little heavy for me too.
I don't like when it gets too crafty. Anyway, I thank everyone for watching. This was a special kind of thing. I always say, what happens if I get sick? God forbid. And then I thought to myself, it wastes some time. But Johnny Monaco could come on and he could do the same shit that I do. But then this morning comes around, 2 a.m. What do? Boom, and there he is. He like Tony Randall and Regis, maybe even Richard Simmons. He was ready. He gave us a tour of the house.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
And we got a little cribs, and we got to explore, and we got to do all those things. I hope that you'll come back, and like I said, we're going to shoot a video. You and I are going to go down to this custard place.
Yeah,
we're going to order the Warren D. Martini special.
Yeah, yeah,
and the J.K. Lee, and we'll invite both of them, and they won't go. And and it'll be great. So anyway, thank you so much, Johnny Monaco. I appreciate you being here. We'll have you back soon. And I thank everyone for watching. This has been a huge stream of people who have stayed in the room. What a big audience there's been. So I thank everyone for watching and having a good time. And I hope you all have a great weekend. And we'll see you with brand new interviews again next week.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, everybody. Bye.